feel better already. I was like running on half battery. Wait, let me turn on the air. It's fucking hot in here. Good to see you, bro. We had so much to talk about today. I've been out for a minute. 7-6. You are so disgustingly early. It's fucking gross. Okay. Probably not. I don't think it's fucking gross. I don't think it's disgusting. The words like that don't seem, it's not rancid. It's like, if anything, it's kind of cool. If anything, it's kind of cool. Listen, I will be live at my normal time tomorrow because we have to record the pod. But outside of that, is there anything wrong with going live like this time? Isn't this time just better? Maybe I had to rethink everything. Maybe I need to rethink everything, bro. It might just be a better time. It's like, it's better for me. Wario hat. All right, I'll open with a story. I've seen all of my editors' penises now. Cancel me. We all went to the fucking spa. There it is. Yep, that's right. We all went to the spa because they're all here in Los Angeles. We went to Wii Spa. That's right. And you know what? You know what the worst part of it is? You know what the worst part of it is? Is fucking Zinjo. Oh, the worst part of their dicks is not what I'm going with this. The worst part of it is, okay, I'm trying to hang out in the one day I get a chance to see my editors. Zinjo goes into the fucking the steam room. No, what is it? It's like hotter than that. What's the hottest room in a spa? What's the no, it's not the sauna. It's like dry. It was dry. The Bolgama. Yeah, that's what it's called. I never heard of that. Bolgama. Yeah, it's this. Okay, he's right. It is called the Bolgama. Okay? Here. It looks like this, no cap. I didn't know what it was either. I've never been to Wii Spa. It's my first time going to Wii Spa, bro. It's like this big brick room, and it's just scorching hot in there. 200 plus degrees or something. All right? Oh, where's my chat? Anyway, so Zinjo and my editors go in there. I go in for 2 seconds. I'm not having it, bro. It's too hot. So I go back out, and then they start having like a macho who can last the longest in the hot room without dying, which, by the way, is probably going to get me a labor board violation because one of them's going to die. So they're just sitting there in the hot fucking room. I'm outside, nobody to talk to. How fucking stupid is that, dude? Anyway, Zinjo won. Zinjo won. Good for him, I guess. But if you know what is the funny thing is, like, when it was down to the last two, they could have died in there and no one would have known. No one would have gone in to check, bro. They could have died. You couldn't even kill me with a gun. That's so untrue. And so untrue. In Finland, we had a sport about who lasted longest in the sauna, but somebody died, so they stopped that. Hashtag true story. Soji, one thing I'll tell you about me as a human, you don't have to add hashtag true story to a story. You can just tell me your story, and I'll determine whether or not it's true. Whether or not you add the hashtag does not determine how much I believe it. It doesn't increase or decrease the likelihood that I'm going to believe it. In fact, I don't think hashtags, I see a lot of you doing a lot more hashtags, almost like an ironic way of turning against what I said. And I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. I don't think that's a cool thing to do. Are you going to China to watch T1 when they make finals? That reminds me, I made a little agenda today. This is what you do when you get good sleep. I made a little agenda for all the things I want to talk about, and we'll fucking jump into the first thing right away. I want to talk about the pick'ems. Okay. I want to talk about the pick'ems. This is a pretty easy one. I can just fucking do that right now. All right. Pick'ems! The greatest League of Legends analyst you know, me, is going to analyze these pick'ems and give you perfectly correct picks so that you can pick them and then also match my perfect score. And you can get all the free skins from League of Legends. Okay? I know ball. When it comes to League of Legends, don't worry about that. Again, we all know the story. Former greatest player in North America, essentially. One rank better than Scarra, no big deal. Rank 21, dominant Fizz, dominant Twisted Fate, Mr. Global, played Shin mid lane, talked in all lowercase, tried to get known on streams, didn't do a good job. Yes, we all know. Okay? Hashtag true story. Secondly, you know, T1 Tattoo correctly predicted 2 out of the last 3 finals. So let's start off right now. T1 wins this. There's no doubt. They're going to the semis. Okay? Do they look shaky this year? Yes. They always do. But they build over time. They're like a Nike swoosh. Okay? It goes down and then it goes up. Speaking of Nike, I have a little story about AirPods. We want to get to that later. G2 and TES. China and Europe. In the real world, China's winning this. Like, badly. If this was like an industrial capacity conversation, this would be no doubt. But it is League of Legends. And G2 has a real shot here. G2 has a real shot here. So I don't know. I don't know. Listen, here's my age-old betting strategy for League of Legends, and it's almost never failed me, is that you bet on T1 and you bet on China. If you bet on T1 and China, you can almost never go wrong. You're pretty much always set. And so I really think I should stick to that. I know you guys are saying G2. I know it'd be more exciting if G2 won. But I think T1 in China is a foolproof strategy. And I'll do it today. Okay? And this one is Gen G without a doubt. They're going to fail right here. And then this one, where's CFO from? Chief Financial Officer? Is that an AI logo? What is going on here? Who's CFO? Taiwan? Oh, no. The bad times for Taiwan. We'll talk about that. Listen, I'm pro Taiwan here. I would feel maybe if CFO wins league, literally, if CFO wins this whole tournament, Taiwan stays independent. CFO looking good though? Fuck it. We'll take the risk. However, they won't beat Gen G. What if they did though? What if we do the underdog picks? Anyway, this one, it's T1 in the grand finals. Dude, a T1 Gen G finals where Gen G wins would be the most depressing. Ain't nobody want that shit. God, I hope Gen G loses somewhere. Gen G winning is it's like, I don't know. It's like if Rocky lost in the movie. Yes, he did actually. It's just oh, you know what it is? It's like if the Mighty Ducks or the Little Rascals play the big strong team and then the strong team just won at the end. That's what it feels like. It feels so, there's no story to it. It's the expected people just winning. Yeah, it's like if Air Bud lost because he's a dog. It's like the basketball finals and the other team just has tall humans and they beat Air Bud easily. It's like, okay, well, that's not a great movie. Let's say CFO. And then T1 beats CFO. Boom, boom. Easy. Pick'ems. Those are crazy pick'ems, but they're gonna be all right. You're gonna see how wild it was for me to predict that. It's gonna really blow your mind. The scrappy underdog 2-time reigning champions. That's T1's secret. That's what the fucking haters and fakes don't understand is T1 sucks ass on purpose all year so they can get the underdog bonus every year despite always winning. Do you understand? It's a cheat. They're always underdogs despite having 3 finals appearances in a row and 2 championships. It's a 200 IQ play. But every year, everyone's like, wow, they suck this year, no chance. And so it still feels like underdogs. I've never seen such a brilliant strategy. Atrioc streaming for my bedtime friends. I'm early. I'm early. I'm live and I'm direct and I'm in action, bro. I got a lot to talk about. Goddamn. Remember last year with Heavy as the crown when they were 1 game away from losing? Yeah. Last year was crazy. Are we watching the game? What game? What game? Okay, well, we're still early in the stream. I want to talk about how the fucking Los Angeles Lakers are the greatest team in NBA history, and I never doubted them for even a second. And then all the haters and fakes who didn't believe in DeAndre Ayton are stupid, and Austin Reeves is an all-star, a true third option, and much like LeBron James, I saw that coming. I had a dream. I had a vision that Austin Reeves would drop 50, and I knew that it would happen. Austin Reeves is the black Luka Doncic. It's not polite. It's not PC, but you're right. Okay? The woke won't accept it, but you're right. You're saying the truth. AR-15 is back. Call him AR-51, bro. I love the annual NBA overreaction to the first 3 games. Dude, it's worse than that. It's the overreaction to the very first game. After the Lakers lost their first game, everyone was like, wow, this team is fucking trash. Another trash year in the books. Here it comes. Give up now. And the second game, they did pretty good. And it was like, holy shit, they're headed for the finals. And in the third game, Austin Reeves drops 51. Everyone like, holy fuck, he might be the next GOAT. We have 2 Lukas on the team. It's fun. I don't care. It's fun. I like to watch the game and have big, bold predictions. Will you ever get into watching hockey? I watch every fucking game of hockey, first time chatter. Ask me anything about hockey. You think I don't know about fucking hockey? You think I don't know ball? Or puck in this case? You think I don't know puck? Ask me any fucking hockey question, bro. I know every fucking thing that there is to know about hockey. Best player in the NHL? The best player in the NHL is the fans. Okay, without them, nothing can be possible. Nice trick question, idiot. Okay. Truth nuke. Name the 2 teams in the Stanley Cup Finals. Don't get so specific. Okay, I'll tell you 2 teams. I'll tell you the 2 fucking teams. On one side, there's the fans that want to watch real hockey, and the other team is the fucking refs. Okay, and we're against each other because we want to watch them. We want to watch them play. Let them fucking play out there in the ice. And those guys fucking whistle every 2 seconds. Can't even enjoy the damn sport. Okay. Let them play. That's what I say. I'm sorry. That's what I say. That's just me. I guess cancel me for it, but that's what I believe. If he really watches. Who knew he was such an in-depth fan? Yep, indeed. Yep, indeed. Chad, it's good to see you. Listen, can we say... I'm doing the Trump hands. I'm doing the Trump hands. I love the Trump hands. Trump! A lot of problems with Trump. The hands, though, he's got those down. Can we say vibes on Twitch this month? All-time lows. All-time low since I've been a streamer. It's a bad vibes month. My God. Oh, fucking yay. Awful vibes, dude. Awful. Like, I don't, like, my stream's not a drama stream. I don't have any problem. I think my chat's fine. I don't feel personally affected too much, but I feel like just the vibes are low. Because I remember working there, and I remember early days of streaming, and I just felt like the vibes are better, bro. The vibes are better. Is that why you haven't been streaming? I would love to say that's why. It would seem so much cooler. If I had a speech where I was like, listen, guys, I want to stream, but the vibes are so tough lately. No, that would be a great answer, but honestly, it's because I sleep like shit and I had a lot to do. That's it. The true answer is I would still be clocking in and I would be streaming, but I already left for a week. I started sleeping really bad. And even when she came back, I've been staying up too late. And then I owe a lot of people a lot of stuff. Mostly crypto gambling, you know, like real money to mobsters. Now I owe a lot of I owe voiceover. I have to make a live marketing Monday for Atrioc. I just have a lot of shit to do, and I get stressed. I get stressed about it, and so I've been trying to do it. But I made a bunch of progress, and I got great sleep last night. You know, sometimes you gotta just lock the fuck in. Sorry, but it's true. Sometimes you gotta just lock the fuck in. So that's what I'm doing. You stole $3 million from 8-ish paychecks and he caught you. We were talking about that when I was with the editors last night. We had dinner and then, well, it's most friends with stuff. And I was saying how, like, one day, one of my editors is going to steal from me. I just know it. I just know it because I don't check the fucking paychecks that I'm signing. I just know that somebody's going to do it. And it's Judas. I love my editors. But I just know, because I just fucking click the button. Like, they send me the invoice. I don't check it. I just pay it. And it's like, I'm like Jesus at the Last Supper, bro. Somebody someday is going to get a little greedy, and they're going to overcharge me, and I'm not going to notice it for a while. You shouldn't say this out loud. I'm honest to a fault. Sue me. All right? I'm honest to a fault. Atrioc got the last song. Quack overbilling you by 3 cents every video for years. Oh, also, I'll tell you a little drama because we have editors here as well. If you guys don't know if you guys know this, we were a little bit late on the Counter-Strike clip. We missed midnight. We were like 12:20 a.m. Okay? And I think the next day, 2 days later, we uploaded the wrong clip. We had the wrong react to Hank Green. I don't know if you're a big A. If you guys are big A people, you maybe notice these two small errors. But I'll be honest with you. It's partly because I had no sleep. I was pissed. I was like stomping around my house. I was huffing. I was mad, dude. I was like, I want to hit because I have like very few goals in my year left to do. And that was my one goal. I was like, every day, don't miss it. And I was mad. And I was acting a little pissy in our group chat. I was like, guys, it's so important, you know. And then I realized like I was being a dick. So I apologized last night. I mean, they've obviously all done amazing work for a very long time. I don't know why I was being annoying. I was just listen, telling the truth here. That's it. You're a kindness. Two different reactions. Somebody says, YTA, I would be so stressed working for you. And then the other guy says, you should execute them. So, editors, if you're watching, there's really two different directions that... There's different, you know what I'm saying? It's not a one path situation. Hey, Atrioc, I don't know if I've chatted here before. You have not. First time chatter. You have a fucking message. I don't know if I've chatted here before. I got an ad for a built credit card this weekend, a credit card marketed to specifically pay your rent with. and the parent company is Wells Fargo. Are we cooked yet? Oh, there's many ways in which I believe we are already cooked. So this is like a little seasoning on the dish. I wouldn't be like, we're good, and then I see this and go, what? And what the fuck? Oh no, we're cooked. Yeah, paying your rent on credit is a bad idea. Though, paying your rent on a credit card with points that you have the money auto pay is not, people do this. I know people, I don't do this, people do this. And it's a fine way to farm points. It's not crazy. So it really depends on how you're using it. But obviously, you just have to understand that like every company that is offering these type of deals is not doing it out of charity. They all know the math, dude. They all know that a certain percentage of people will not be able to make that payment. And then they, you know what I'm saying? Like that. So if you feel confident in your own situation, I'm not going to speak for you. Do what you got to do. But I just understand that like the extension of credit is a system designed to trap you in a way. Yeah, just be careful about lifestyle creep is a great way to put it. Dude, speaking of lifestyle creep, I want to throw Aiden under the bus. Which I feel bad. Dude, I feel like it's okay. Here, let me give you my thoughts with Aiden. Okay. I think I have thrown Aiden into a joke, a financial joke, too many times. Because I really, really, really like and respect Aiden. And by the way, most of you maybe won't see this. Maybe we'll make a clip out of it or something. But we did a Patreon thing on Lemonade Stand, and Aiden went fucking off, and he was spitting, and it was the most passionate I've seen him in a minute, and I really loved what he was saying, and I was impressed, and I liked it a lot. So nothing but respect. However, the reason I like making financial jokes at Aiden is because he's a young guy with too much money. The yard makes more money than God thinks it should. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're making 50 racks a month at whatever, he's 26, 27, and off of just the yard, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And so he obviously has some poor financial habits that I like to point out. Leaked. That's not even, he didn't tell me anything. I'm just looking at the fucking Patreon number and dividing it by 4. Okay, just to be clear, I'm not leaking anything. You can look it up online and divide it by 4. That's all I'm doing. It could be, I'm sure they have to pay editors and things too. Okay. So he's making dumb money. So we are going to Japan this week. Dude, I feel bad even. I feel out of touch just saying this. I'm going to say it anyway. So we're going to Japan next week. We're going to Japan. Because Doug was going to go anyway. And so we're going to fly out there for a brief time and do a Sea Dog VA podcast. And we're going to interview a Japanese political expert, and it's going to be fun. That's what we're doing. All right. I'm not worried about that. That's fine. We can do that. The problem is Aiden booked all our flights. Okay. And I just want to be honest with you. I've never, ever paid full price for upgraded seats in my life, in my entire life. And I make good money. Okay. Obviously, I never shy about that. I've never paid for upgraded seats. Now, I did on the New Zealand trip with Aiden. I did the little auction, and I bid $400 and I got a $3,000 upgrade. It was an insane steal. Of course I'll do that. I'll do that every week. But I wouldn't buy the upgraded seats. I can't even believe I'm saying this. I shouldn't even. Aiden booked our seats, and he sent me the bill for my 2 seats. Okay? For me and Ari. It feels disgusting to say. It's $9,000 per seat. Per seat. $18,000 bill. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I freaked out, dude. I lost my mind. I lost my mind. That's good. That we're paying for my half. I'm paying for Ari's personally. Paying for my half through lemonade stand. So that just wipes out my lemonade stand money. But you guys, the reason I'm telling you this is because it's just not normal. This is crazy. I don't know what kind of service they're giving on this flight, but it better be fucking crazy. Okay? I better get a foot massage, bro. How? It's so disgusting. That's a disgusting amount of money for a flight. By the way, as I said when this happened, I was telling Ari, it's not that I'm sure I will like the nice seat, but in a regular seat, I fall asleep like a brick before the plane takes off. Just want to be clear. I sit down in especially if I get a window. If I get a window seat, I lean against it. I put my mask on, put my headphones on, I put my coat by the thing, and I fall asleep before the flight takes off. Often, I'm not kidding. It's not an exaggeration. It's very normal for me to fall asleep before it takes off and wake up when we land. It's like I teleport. I teleport. Okay? I teleport. So the idea that I'm going to pay $18,000 to what? To nap the same way? To fast travel in a nicer... It's crazy, dude. I could buy a new computer multiple times over. The things I could do with that money is baffling to me. And you do it barefoot. Okay, relax. I don't do it barefoot. Sometimes the socks are out. Fucking sue me. Yeah, I do. I take the shoes off. My socks don't smell. My feet don't smell. Okay? By the way, if I'm sitting in an $18,000 seat, my piggies are coming out. Okay? My grippers are coming out and I'm flexing them. I'm wiggling them. I'm wiggling my toesies, bro. 100 for that price. I'm going full Hobbit. I'm gonna wiggle each one and oink. All right. Imagine being the person next to the person that also played 9K for the seat and they have their piggies. Like, I'm gonna get my money's worth, but the rich fuck next to me is gonna be like, his nose turned up. He's pissed because I'm making little oinky noises. Anyway, this will be the most expensive flight by far that I've ever been on. Even the New Zealand one where I got upgraded, I bid $400 and I got a $3,000 upgrade, which is incredible. But like that total package would be less than this significantly. So this is going to be crazy. If it's disappointing, I'm going to be so mad. How long is the flight? I don't know. It's maybe 11. I don't know. Yeah, 12 hours. 12 hours 40. Maybe 13. If you vlog it as a business expense, it is a business expense. That is why he did it this way. He booked them because it is a lemonade stand business expense. So, but like, it's funny because, all right, so if it was like, I don't know, a company paying for it, I'd be like, I don't give a shit. Fine, that's awesome. But the company paying for it is just a company that is me, Doug, and Aiden. so like the money just gets taken out of my shit. Like it's not some magic, like the way he talks about it, like, oh, it's a business expense, but it's just our money. Like it's not, you know what I have to do? I got to pull a Lincoln and I'm paying for Ari's out of pocket. So what I really need to do is pull a Linkus. Because I can't write off Ari's ticket. So she needs to be in coach. Like, I'm sorry, but like, it's just tax. She needs to be in coach, bro. I'm sorry, but it's just tax efficient. Maybe I'll just call Ari or call Aiden and see if we can refund one of the, Have Ari guest on the app and then write that shit off. Dude, we start getting real crazy with the tag stuff. You could say Ari's she's PA. She's like, she holds the camera for 5 minutes. It had to be there. She had to fly. She's a consultant. Samurai Zebra, thank you for the 42 months. Thank you for the 42 months. This is legit the reverse of what's happening last time. You calling him poor while Aiden's in coach. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His money's gotten up too much. He's become crazy. He's become wild with... He spent $100,000 on CSGO skins, bro. By the way, though, let me give Aiden credit now. It's quite possible that Aiden made a... Well, I don't want to... Don't, please don't... This is not financial advice, you degenerate fucks. I don't agree with any of this. But Aiden did buy the dip on some of the knives, and they are up. They are up. They are up since he bought. Now, I talked to this guy, Aero CS. He's like a pretty big Counter-Strike skin guy. He's like, you got to wait till the 30th, because that's when the Counter-Strike knives, if you bought reds to trade up to knives, you can't trade those for a full week lockup. I talked to Aero. And Arrow is like, so the full week lockup on all the new knife supply is really not hitting until the 30th. And that's when a lot of the supply is going to start hitting every single day. And so he's like, you know, from what he's seeing, there is a lot of supply ready to be traded, like a good amount of the high-end knives. So he's kind of, he's not diving in to buy the dip until after that. But you know, maybe Aiden was right. Maybe he did it fast. Crystal Sis, thank you for the prime. Big I have a community manager role interview tomorrow. What question should I prep for? I've hired a couple community managers in my day. Make sure you really, 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 really know the fucking brand. Know how they talk on like social media and YouTube and online spaces. Make sure that you're ready to be like on camera to film content or whatever. Like you're true digital native, understand, and understand like the type of questions that whatever this company gets asked a lot. If you know all that shit, and you seem eager and excited and ready to jump in, I mean, honestly, community manager is just a role that needs a ton of energy, bro, because you get beaten down. A CM is like constantly getting. They're like. Here's how it works. Here's how it works, bro. Here's how it works. Okay? Here's how it works. There's evil corporation. Maybe they're not evil, but let's assume. Okay? There's evil corp. Maybe they're not evil. Maybe they're just fine. Okay? And then there's a shield. Okay? And there's angry customers. Angry customers. This is you. They're shooting things. Angry. And you are the point of contact. But your ability to make any decisions is zero. Okay? So you can't like change anything. Like this is all the decisions are here. They get to decide what happens. You just have to you have to communicate these decisions and also accept you just have to tank shit, really. Now, it's not always this case, and it's not always this bad. And oftentimes, if it was a good, healthy company, they take your advice. You can like collectively surface feedback on what customers are actually thinking and feeling, and then they make decisions based on that. But if it's a bad company, they don't do that. But that's the idea, right? So it's a stressful job if you care. If you don't care, you can kind of just check out and, I don't know, ChatGPT it. But if you care, you know, I didn't do a directly CM role, but I was public facing at Twitch. And I remember when Twitch made the decision to mute VODs. Nobody cares now, but at the time, everyone was so pissed about it. And it sucked. It sucked to have to do Twitch Weekly and be like, hey, here's this exciting new feature from Twitch. Well, we're gonna mute all the VODs with music. And everyone was fucking pissed. And you just get yelled at, but you can't do anything about it. It's not your choice. I'm a fucking 22-year-old. So that's That's the reality of the job, brother. But if you know that and you're getting it with a good idea and you're energetic, I think I've become more energy pilled lately. In that, I think like one of the number one traits any human can have for any job or team that you're on is energy. Like if they're actually energetic about trying to do something and improve, it's so much better than any particular skill. Um, that's how I feel, but it's hard. It's hard. Um, mm, My husband and I are getting a new kitten. What would she name it? What would we name it? Name the kitten Meowtrioc. Meowtrioc. Perfect. That's a good one. Nailed it. Nah, I nailed it. Perfect. It's a subtle reference. It's a subtle reference. Or, I guess depending on your politics, you could name him Chairman Meow. That's a pretty good one too. And then you can make you could make like these type of posters. You can make these type of posters, but with your cat and put them all around your house. And then instead of a little red book, have a little red litter box. Okay? That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. He gets there. Yeah, and then starve the other cats. Hey, yo! Hey, yo! Okay, let me get water. Let me get water. Where's my Lakers cup? Where's my fucking Lakers cup, bro? Let me get water real quick. And then I want to talk about how I got cited as a source. Black Coke. Hey, smile, Lakers cup. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. You say holy heavy walker? You think I walk too heavy? What the fuck are you talking about? What are you trying to say, bro? What are you trying to say? Uh, the camera shakes. The camera shakes because my table touches the camera. And so when the table shakes, the camera shakes. I'm gonna pull it forward. Actually, very easy. Don't say stomp, stomp, stomp like I'm like I'm the fucking Jack and the Giant, dude. Like I'm fee fi fo fum. Stupid, bro. Fucking stupid. Why does he sip so demurely? First, I'm a big clomping giant, and now I sip too demurely. It's because it's full to the brim. I don't want to spill. Tasty. Tasty, tasty. Why is your cup iced out? Because I support the LA Lakers. LA Lakers best team in the NBA, even without their top two players. Yeah, I'll say it. Austin Reeves drops fucking 50 on Wemby's head. I'll say it. I'll say it. Have you read Richest Man in Babylon? I actually have, but I vaguely remember it. This is a while back. It was like, it's like it's like Rich Dad Poor Dad for ancient times. It's like there's like two neighbors in ancient Babylon, and one guy's like, I get my paycheck and I just spend it on frivolous crap like a ancient Gucci belt. And the other guy's like, I took my corn and I sold it to buy an investment in a copper factory. And now I'm the wealthiest man in Babylon. Yeah, I remember it. I mean, as always, there's some truth in there, but I don't know about it as a life philosophy. I do remember it. Vaguely though. I'd have to reread. At the time I liked it. What's your favorite movie? My favorite movie is the Bible a movie? Because in a way, that's the only piece of media that I really care about. But if you want a more grounded answer, I used to always say Memento, but I don't know what it is now, really. I used to love Memento. I thought it was a great movie, but I don't know what I would say now. I don't know what I would say now. Probably the Minecraft movie. Probably the Minecraft movie. If I had to pick, it's probably the Minecraft. Because the thing about the Minecraft movie is that it speaks to everybody. It's like a powerful message about friendship and being true to yourself. And we need that in these trying times. It also has the part where he says chicken jockey. So it would be tough to beat that, I think. Saying Memento was your favorite movie is such a pretentious thing to say. Yeah, but there's no right answer for favorite movie. There's no answer where everyone goes, wow, great answer. Every favorite movie is either too pretentious or too slop. Do you understand? Do you understand? That's the whole point. That's the fucking point. So I don't know. I don't know where I would land today. I honestly feel very Zoomer pilled on this. I guess actually there's two types of Zoomers. There's the larger, less vocal type of Zoomer that just steadily consumes less movies every year. And then there's the other type of Zoomer that I probably have in my fucking audience who is on Letterboxd 24/7. Torrents 40 movies a week and constantly fucking consumes and talks about it. So there's two types. There's the consumer. Okay? And so, while I probably have more of that audience, the truth of the matter is, the part that I feel like I watch less movies. Actually, I know I watch less movies than I used to. I used to be a pretty frequent movie consumer. I would go to the movies a lot. Ari and I would watch movies a lot. We talked about movies. I feel like, especially post-COVID, my movie consumption has fallen off a cliff, dude. It's just not nearly as much as it was. You want me to pay attention for 2 hours straight? Impossible. Right, they just bad shit now. Yeah, and even people that are watching movies are like, this is most people watching movies now. I'm watching. I know what he said. I'm watching. That's what fucking movie watching is now. So, especially if it's a goddamn Netflix movie, dude. Netflix built for this. Netflix internally makes their movies so there's not much going on the sides. There's only one thing happening on screen at once, and they like loudly explain their motivations so you can kind of keep up passively. They have like very simple motivations, and every character's like, God, I'm angry. That's that real slop, dude. That's that real slop. So you can just know what's going on, bro. I watch movies, but I watch a reaction YouTuber watch the movies. You gotta cut it, dude. You have to cut it with something. It's too strong. A direct movie straight to my brainstem, that's too much stimulus. That's too much going on. I can't figure it out. I need to cut it with somebody who tells me how to react. Someone has to laugh at it at the right point so I know when to laugh. I watch movie recap at 2x speed. Dude, you know what? I bet some of you do this too. This is like a habit that I've seen among Zoomers. Okay? Zoomers like to read the plot summary of the movie right before they watch the movie. Sometimes even during. They like to have Wikipedia open the plot summary, and like know what's happening so that they're not surprised. Like, so they can just follow along beat by beat with what they already know it's going to happen. It's crazy. Am I crazy? It's crazy, dude. It blows my mind. And like I saw one person do this a while back, and I was like, no big deal. But it's happened more people do this. More people do this. It's like relatively common. I think that's crazy, bro. I don't anymore, but I used to read the last page of a book when I was a kid. Yeah, it just does something for people. Some people need to know. They need to not be in a state of anxiousness. My hope is that it's because the world is so anxious. They want, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a rumor. They want this to be controlled, and if we had a better world, they would be less likely. But if it's just this weird brain rot, I have no idea what. My sister says I don't get this. Yeah, it's about the ending, not the journey. Maybe. Force them to watch Uncut Gems so they feel good, anxious. I mean, yeah, Uncut Gems would be a movie where they have to look it up. Although what you read would not be good either. It depends. When I care about one character and that character in the show or movie dies early on, I just tune out. I want my guy to be happy, sue me. It's funny because I'm changing. You know, we're all growing and changing. I think I used to be more of I used to look down on people more. Like I remember back when Game of Thrones happened and they had, spoiler alert, like the Red Wedding. No, I used to do it a lot more. Okay. Game of Thrones had the Red Wedding, and people would be like, oh my God, I'm not watching this show anymore. This show, what the fuck is this? The characters I like all died, spoiler. I don't want to watch it. And I was like, you weaklings. You can't enjoy good media. Wow, your character has to live for it to be. I was like, come on. And nowadays, I just feel like people want nicer stuff. They want to have a nice character they like do well. And I can't blame them. I just can't get as mad at them. They just want to have a character they cheer for that wins. Is that so wrong? Is that your crime? Wait, one second. Sorry. Someone's at the door. I'm not stomping. I don't want to have to worry. You guys already, every time I leave the stream, talk about fucking cocaine. I don't want to be worried about stomping. I don't want to walk lightly. Okay? We heard your ass stomping all over the house. Just felt an earthquake on the East Coast. On the East Coast, Jelly? On the East Coast. 3,000 miles away. You felt an earthquake from me walking to my front door and check. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not quite sure that's true. In Ohio can confirm. It's so interesting. There was something in Poland too. Really, all over the world, you guys felt the earthquakes. That's so interesting. I don't like watching the awkward part of movies where the main characters are being stupid or making bad decisions, like the party after the tournament and Coach Carter. Such a specific deep cut Coach Carter reference. He's based, folks. He's based. It's true. They acted stupidly. I don't get that. Again, this is my old self talking, but I would get kind of mad at you for saying that because do you think people don't make stupid decisions in the real world? People always get mad at like characters for doing stupid things. People do stupid shit all the time. That nobody responds perfectly to dangerous or crazy situations or emotionally stressful situations. People make bad choices all the time. And so yeah, that's what you'd want from a real piece of media is not characters responding perfectly to every situation, but rather the drama that plays out when they don't. But again, I understand the need more for people to just want like a character they like to do well. I will say, okay, there's a show I felt this a lot recently. I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh, it was not even a good character really, but what's that show? Ozark with Jason Bateman. You guys know that show? It was Jason Bateman as like an accountant who gets pulled into a drug ring or whatever. It's a good show. But I got a little tired of the show because at no point ever in that 4 seasons of the show do they ever just get a break. They never, ever. You're kind of cheering for this family because they're in a terrible situation. And like every week, every episode, it's like, oh my God, this drug lord's going to kill us in 2 hours unless we launder all this money. We have to do it. And so they go through this crazy thing. They finally launder it. They solve the problem. And then it's like, uh-oh, but we just pissed off another drug lord. Like, they never just get 1 week where things are going right and they feel good. They're like, wow, well, we can breathe. And so when you watch it, we binged it. When you watch it like a long time, it's like fine. But when you binge it, it's like, it's obvious how it's just one thing into one thing into one thing. It's constantly conflict. So I did get a little tiring by the end of it, but I still like the show. What's up, Misto? Yeah, downtime. I like that. I like having moments where they're just downtime where the characters are not stressed. They're just chilling. I mean, people love this about Game of Thrones. That's one of the reasons the last season sucked. One of the many reasons. But in the last season, they start fast traveling because they only have 6 episodes. So it's like, here's an event, conflict, fast travel, conflict, fast travel, conflict. But in Game of Thrones season 1 and 2, especially, there's like just this downtime where they're like hanging out or they're like in a carriage traveling long distances and they talk and you learn more about them and it's and it makes you care about them for when shit happens. You would love One Piece? No, there's a line. There's too much downtime. I would not love One Piece. There is a line, bro. Something's got to happen eventually. Something's got to happen. Avatar had fantastic downtime episodes. Yeah, that's what people love about it. I mean, you have to have the big events to make the show, epic and incredible and interesting. But all the downtime is what makes the show last. What makes people like care about it long. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. For real ones that know. The show Firefly is basically just the downtime. The show Firefly only got like 12 episodes. How many episodes did it get? Firefly episodes. It got 14 episodes. Okay? Probably on net, 9 of them are downtime. Okay? A lot of stuff happens, but like most of them are pretty small stakes. And a lot of it's just them on the ship, goofing around, talking shit. And that show is still memorable decades later off of that little one canceled season because the characters are so likable. They're so, you get to know them. They did such a good job with that. So yeah, 100%. 100%. There's a great YouTube video breaking this down. Zoomers, when there's a chance to link a video essay. Fucking losing their mind. You'll never miss a chance. You'll never miss a chance, no matter what I say. Oh, there's a video essay about this. There's a fucking 8-hour video essay. How long is it? I'm going to click it right now. How long is this? Let me guess. At least an hour.
This video.
Oh my God, it's 10 minutes. I take it all back, but it's only 68K views, so that's not, you broke the rules. You broke the rules. You broke the rules because if it had 1 million views, it would be an hour plus. That's a fact. I know how the algorithm works, bro. Oh, so okay, let's talk about this. Wait. I got some. I have something interesting to talk about. Okay, and it's that you guys all better start treating me with a little more respect. Okay, because I'm no longer just a streamer. I'm no longer just a funny guy on Twitch talking about news. All right, I am an official source. This got 10 million views. Breaking. Gen Z males are turning away from Donald Trump, but are not aligning with the Democratic Party either, expressing frustration with both sides, per Atrioc. Per Atrioc. It's per Atrioc, bro. Simple as, bro. You can just put that and it's confirmed. Per Atrioc, bro. We're there. We're through the looking glass. And honestly, I respect it. Yes. He said it, 10 million views, 36K likes. We're in. I'm a primary source. I'm gonna tell you a lot of things now, per Atrioc. Per Atrioc, people should donate more to Twitch streamers. Per Atrioc, I think hot dogs, pretty good food. So this came out, and obviously I got a lot of flack for it. Some of it was about like, I know who Atrioc is. What the fuck is he? He's a streamer. But some of it was like, they didn't even know who I was, and it was more like this. Wait, let me see if I can find the thing. Wait, I don't want to spoil it. Where's the? Oh, it's like right. Yeah, you're right here. This guy. Be hard here with an AI profile picture per some propaganda outlet masquerading as polling who you've never heard of. Thinks I'm a fucking polling station, bro. He thinks I'm a fucking like it's Atrioc News Network or something, bro. I got Soul Red. Propaganda polling. So I didn't even know where this came from because it's like I haven't made a video like this anytime recently. And I found out that this breaking news comes from the Gavin Newsom interview. That's where this comes from. They took a line from the Gavin Newsom interview and then reported it, I guess, a month later as breaking news from Atrioc. That's where it comes from. So it was like, let me see if I have the, here, it's like,
This is Gavin Newsom.
no, Gavin Newsom, Atrioc. It seems like this, something like this.
Seems like the DNC as a whole.
Wait,
I saw.
where? How do you do the transcript? Yeah, it's like, okay, like this. I can find it when I search bald. Yeah.
call me old. My hairline's bad.
Old
Don't
guy, you're
call
old,
me
dude.
old bald.
Trust me.
But
Old man.
they are turning on Donald Trump in a way that will come apparent pretty soon. But they're not turning towards the Democratic
That's
Party.
the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, they're equally as upset with them, which is what I think the problem is.
I mean, it goes on, but that was the general idea. That was the breaking news, right? As I just basically said, that the polling shows Gen Z is becoming more openly nihilistic with politics. On the whole, obviously you're going to find somebody who's one way, somebody who's the other. But on the whole, they're getting more and more upset with the status quo in general. And a lot of them put their faith in Trump because they thought he was an outsider. And now the polling is turning against that. And I want to back this up a little bit because I as much as per Atrioc is enough for me, the reason I said that, especially at the time, was reading stuff like this, okay? So, for example, there was this Newsweek poll. Actually, this is a YouGov poll, I believe, but Donald Trump's support among Gen Z is eroding. And again, Newsweek, before you accuse them of pure bias, the week before, whatever, had said this. The worst poll of the year for Democrats. Democrats are polling even worse. Oh, wait, I lost my chat. Dude, why do I have no chat in all my... It's because I record offline now. Yeah, political ad. Underwater. Young voters, Black Americans sour on Trump as job market stumbles. The general idea of my point in that podcast and my points now is that young people, more than anyone, are getting deeply affected by this weak economy. Youth unemployment has never been so high, at least since the Great Recession. And so they're upset. They're angry. They thought things would change more quickly, and now they're getting disillusioned. There's a lot of issues in America, but those ones, I believe, are driving the change. Okay? Associated Press. The score from Gen Z is Trump's worst of any age group by 20 points. And again, they include Latinos as well, but these two groups, Latinos and Gen Z, had a huge rightward swing for the election. Like, Gen Z was like 50-50, and they're usually way more left-leaning or whatever in this election. But then after the election, it has eroded super quickly. Like, the polls had them all the way up and then shooting way down. And it's because of the same things, the economy and tariffs, okay? These are the main issues because these are directly impactful to young people who are like screaming to be able to get on the ladder. The ladder of like, I get a job, a good job, not a shit job, a good job that has a future. I get a chance to get a house. I have a chance to build some net worth. Like, these are the things people are screaming for. And because Trump has, it's only first year, but they're getting the idea that he's not going to fix these problems, and it's what's caused him to turn away. This specifically, though, when I spoke about that in the Gavin Newsom interview, was the poll I was thinking of, okay? Where the change between Feb 25 and July 25, which was like a latest poll at the time, was minus 27 points among 18 to 29-year-olds. This is a massive, massive drop-off, okay? So even though I'm saying per Atrioc, it's actually per a lot of sources. That there's a clear shift. There's a clear shift. Now, people that are against Trump will see these polling and be, I don't know, they'll be kind of enthused. They'll be like, well, hell yeah, they're going to turn against him. But what I was trying to get across in that interview, especially to Gavin Newsom, was like, hey, they're turning away from him. Some of them are going even farther right. Some of them are spiraling off into nihilism, and some of them are going way left of the status quo of Democrats. They're not like flipping back and forth. They're getting out of they're becoming disillusioned in general. Like, they're not just going back to Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, bro. Okay? It's more of like an overall anger. That's what I was trying to hit with the young people. And this is what I saw recently. This is after I made those comments, but I looked at the latest YouGov poll, and it shows, again, Trump, unfavorability among 18 to 29, higher than any other group. Significantly. It's gone way up. I mean, it's like they have a very low favorable opinion, very high unfavorable. They're clearly not feeling like he's the right choice for, again, he's a fucking 79-year-old man who's primarily concerned with things benefiting him, bro. He's not doing a lot to actually benefit the economy of the United States. However, I also found what people think of Chuck Schumer in this same YouGov poll. It's not good. He has an even lower favorability rating, and while his unfavorable isn't as high, it's only because most people don't know who the fuck he is. One thing I've realized, and I realize it, I feel like I used to know this really well, but because I've been trapped in the fucking streaming and politics bubble, and I have an audience that's more engaged than usual, I forget sometimes that the average person doesn't give a fuck about 95% of this. They don't know these people. They don't know who they're voting on. They don't know what's happening. They don't care. Like it barely impacts them. They have a few broad stroke ideas on things they want or don't want, but the day-to-day specifics don't fucking matter. And so, I'm just trying to back up my little per Atrioc post there. It wasn't just me making shit up, bro. It's like, I think there's I think people are feeling it. I think young people are feeling this. They're feeling a higher rate of disillusionment. They're feeling disappointed. If they were Republicans, they're feeling disappointed with that party and the other party. If they're Democrats, they're feeling disappointed with Democrats and super angry at their inability to stand up to what's happening with Republicans. So it's a broader feeling. And then the FT, this is well after I made that comment. This came out, I think, today. This is today. This is Republicans specifically. So this is somebody that voted for Trump and openly admitted to voting for Trump. So they're proud of it, okay? If you ask them around the election or around February, high approval. But even Gen Z Republicans have been the massive drop off under 18 to 34. So young people, okay? Again, if they're 65 plus, 90 plus approval. If you're a 65-year-old Republican, this has been the greatest presidency of your life. But if you're a 18-year-old Republican, it has felt like, whoa, where's, a lot of the promises, less foreign conflicts, better economy, all that stuff did not come true, right? And it's actually looking like the opposite. Similar polls here, again, adults age under 30, way higher approval around early part of the year, start of the year, that fell off much faster than the rest of adults. Young people, that's the broad theme of my topics this whole year, bro. This whole year I've been like specifically noticing 18 to 30 range are just screaming like in every way they can. And by the way, like turning away from everything can be considered screaming. Like just disengaging from the whole world is like in a way a scream for help. A scream of like, what the fuck is going on? I just a complete being upset with the normal way of doing business. And by the way, I'm not fully supportive of this because I think a lot of times it's not helpful. And I'm scared of how many young people are turning towards authoritarianism on the left and the right. Both people are like, I just need some strong person to come in and fix everything. That always spooks me. We have a long history in the world of people doing that when they're desperate and it doesn't go well. But what I'm trying to say is I can understand why. It's like not crazy why it's happening. People are like, wow, what the hell's going on? Why are you people so different? It's like, it's not fucking crazy. They can't get a house, bro. They can't get on the ladder. The job opportunities are worse. The unemployment's higher. I just saw, we've been talking about how we've been in a no hire, no fire economy. A no hire, some fire economy. Bro, Amazon, 30K corporate jobs about to be laid off. Meta about to do massive layoffs. Even the companies that are doing well are preparing massive layoffs, bro. This just happened today. Like it's not shocking. And again, this chart I think was really illustrative. Okay. So that they polled people of different ages about where they thought wealth comes from. When they asked old people, most of them think wealth comes from earning it. Okay. Because a lot of them in their time, that was pretty true. You feel like you could work hard and get ahead. If you did a little extra, you could make more money. There was opportunities, but what they don't understand is how much that's shifted, how much that's changed. Like the headwinds, the tailwinds, the wind in their sails has turned into wind against the sails. It has turned into like a general drag that makes it harder. Okay. So now most people will say wealth comes from taking advantage of others. Okay. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. So people are getting more upset with that. It's like 50-29. It's never been this number. It's never been over 50%. And so again, I bring it back to Trump. That's what I talk about. Again, I've been pretty negative on Trump this year, and largely for this reason. And the reason I attack these issues the most is because these are issues that are the most important to people. Okay? They say it. This is where he's underwater. He's underwater on inflation more than anything. Oh, this is the most unpopular issue. Inflation. This is where people are the most angry. The economy, trade, and inflation. This is the last election. This is a 2024 election. Kamala, Trump. What was the most important issue? The fucking economy by a lot. By a fucking lot. And that's even with them constantly talking about immigration. Like Trump mentioned the economy way less than immigration. Immigration, for Republican voters especially, was like a big issue. But not as big as the economy was number one, bro. This is what people are screaming about. I don't know why it's like so hard to get. And that's even people that are partisan. So like, look, we got a pretty partisan country, right? The view on the economy flips based on president. When Biden becomes president, Democrats go, the economy's good. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Republicans, they think it's good when Trump's there. They hate it. They hate it under Biden. Then Trump becomes president. Now it's fucking great again. But you can see it's going down. That like the honeymoon period only lasts so long. It only lasts so long. And people have real lived experiences. They notice the price of shit going up. They notice the job opportunities. It's not crazy. I'm having an interview this week with Melody Wright. Melody Wright, a housing expert, one of, I think, the best voices on housing in all of America. She literally drives out to like these actual developments. She talks to every part of the stack from the NAR all the way down to home buyers, all the way, every stack. I'm interviewing her this week because I love her Substack. I'm doing that on Wednesday, ideally. We're going to talk about it. But again, the number of home sales has dropped to like 0. The average age of a first-time buyer has never been higher in my lifetime. It went from like 29, 30 to now it's like 39, 40 for the first-time home buyer. It's crazy. It's crazy. And of course that's going to lead to disillusionment if you're young. People are just understandably pissed about it. So I just wanted to back up my my little per Atrioc here. I wanted to make sure. Yeah, I'm not just fucking saying that for nothing, bro. The data backs it up. Talk to people in your life. It'll back it up. People are frustrated. Average home buyers over 50. I'm not sure about that, but I know the first time home buyer has reached like near 40 levels, which is just crazy for people to be able to afford their first home, starter home at near 40. It's absurd. Hashtag true story. Yeah, hashtag true story. Was there anything else I want to say on that? Was there anything else I wanted to say on that? I don't think so. I mean, there was a quote from that FT article I thought was pretty interesting. They were talking about unease over some of the president's policies is fueling a drop in support. It's like they're talking to Gen Z Trump voters. Dropping support for his administration among Gen Z Trump voters across the U.S. His approval rating among under 35s who voted for him had fallen by 25 percentage points since February, the largest decline in any age group. And then they interviewed this guy. He's changed his mind on Trump. He hasn't kept his promises. He started a tariff war. Now prices are going up. The government shutdown is stupid. I don't know what he's doing. I'm close to calling myself an independent. That's what I feel is happening. Not for everybody, but for a lot of people. And by the way, so I'm railing against Trump for this, which I've done plenty of times, but I also want to rail against, man, I can't imagine missing the moment harder than what the DNC's doing. It's like the ball's teed up. It's never been so easy to hit the fucking ball. And he's like whiffing. It's T-ball and he's just fucking swinging and missing. But somebody will. I mean, listen, that explains, we've talked about the Graham Plattner stuff. I don't know if I have a link in front of me, but I saw the polling on Plattner. They did polling on Graham Plattner after all this controversy, and his support among young people has, if anything, increased because now he's seen as more of an outsider. Like his polling, like it is. I will say this. Among like the 45 plus Democrat leaning, people in Maine, it did hurt him. I'm not going to lie. It did hurt him. And that's one of the reasons I was kind of disappointed. Actually, I was pretty disappointed, was because like you want the guy to be able to win a general. You want him to be able to get his message out to a broad populace. It sucks to do that. It did hurt him. But among young people, it did not. That's what was crazy. Because I think young people are just like, they're just really willing to try out. They don't want the 79-year-old establishment candidate. They just don't want it, bro. They need somebody different, bro. It's not like a want, it's a need. And that's the point I've been trying to get across. And I think it's becoming more understood and accepted, but I've been saying it for a year plus now, basically around since the election. I was like, this is the story of our time. And it's happening in all over the world. And there's Gen Z protests in like 10 different countries that are upending the governments. And even in like established countries like France, Germany, the UK, you know, young people are shifting to whatever they feel is going to give them a more serious change. Not always in good ways. I'm not happy about it. I'm just describing this is what's happening. So if they get their first home at 40 with a 30-year mortgage, they're paying that shit into their 70s? Yeah, for sure. I mean, just wait till we get Canadian 40-year mortgages. Just wait till we get, you know, they have to extend because nobody can make the payments and they don't want to lower the price. So they're going to start doing fucking 40, 50-year mortgages, bro. YouTube Frog from Germany here for the first time. Glad to be here. Welcome. In your first time chat message, you get to pick a topic if you'd like to. I think I covered what I wanted to say. That's the main idea. That's the main idea. By the way, I'm not a fucking, I think I keep talking about this stuff because it's real. I just think it's real and it's happening and we can't fucking bury our hands in the sand in it. I'm not a long-term doomer. I am like a short-term, like, shit's about to happen. You know, I don't feel like it's just going to be, but I am a long-term bloomer. And I hope to shift people's minds towards more productive ways than just nihilism or I need the strongest person that has beliefs like me to come and kill all my enemies. That doesn't end well. I'm sorry it doesn't. I'm sorry it doesn't end well, but no matter what you think, if I just get the strongest person that thinks like me to kill all my enemies, well then it's just, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, bro. It's never worked. It has so many obvious flaws. So I want to try and shift people's mindsets from that. I know it's appealing at these times. Sorry, I lost the guy. I lost the new guy. Did he have a first topic? I've lost him. I don't remember what he was. He had a topic. Oh, damn R. User damn R. You said, can you talk about the government shutdown? How you think it'll be resolved? I can, but okay. I let you pick any topic, but if you pick a topic that I'm already planning to farm for a clip, you can't really do that. I have a government shutdown video and I'm making a 30-day one and we're not at 30 days. So I'm sorry, but if I use all my talking points now, I'm gonna be pissed off. So you actually can't pick that one. I'm sorry. That's the rule, but we're at 26 and I'm doing a clip at 30. So 8ish boss call. Okay. Another thing. I've never been to 8ish's house. He lives in Boston and I never want to go to fucking Boston. But my editors, they flew in from all over the world. They went to Boston to see 8ish and then they all flew to LA with 8ish and hung out with me. Okay? We've had a good time. It's great. Mostly with each other. I hung out yesterday, but that's it. Okay? They told me that 8ish lives in a fucking mansion. They said 8ish lives in a place with 6 rooms. I don't know if they're being honest, but what the fuck is going on? My place is small, bro. What the fuck? I'm employing this guy and he's living in a fucking mansion? What is the rev split? What's happening? Why is my editor, who's in his fucking 20s, living fucking better than me? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. LA prices, it doesn't matter, bro. I went from Twitch acquired by Amazon to Nvidia, #1 company in the world, from like not even listed when I joined. Then I put my money into fucking gold, which triples, and then I fucking have a stream do pretty well, and I have a tiny house in LA. Okay? How the fuck is this is crazy. This is crazy. I couldn't have been I'm getting robbed blind. I gotta check I'm checking the fucking paycheck statements. I'm checking the statements, bro. Cause I'll tell you this, all my Twitch money that I've ever made, every dollar I've ever made from Twitch goes into PayPal. And the PayPal money all goes to editors. Okay? That's the flow I use. And for a long time, I was making more on Twitch than I was paying editors. So there was a surplus. And money started to stack up in my PayPal. It was like stacking up. And then I hired Adish. And then there was a deficit every month. And now, recently, I ran out of money in the PayPal and I had to put in my own money to keep it. I had to fucking resupply it. What the fuck's happening? What the fuck's happening? This is crazy, bro. This shit's crazy. Thank God I stole $3 million from Ludwig is all I'll say. Thank God. If I hadn't stolen that $3 million from Ludwig, it would just be a hard thing to manage. But that gave me this nice cushion. Thank God I yoinked from Ludwig. Stance took the fall for that. Yeah, threw him under the bus. Okay, so that was what I want to talk about. Second thing I want to talk about. Listen, all right, I know the way a lot of people in this chat lean. Malay haters on watch. We got to talk about Argentina, bro. Malay haters on watch. He crushed this election. There was election on Sunday. He did quite well, way better than expected. Way better. We'll watch a little video about it. Malay did way better than expected, which, again, let me give you the timeline here. Let me give you the timeline. I have mixed feelings on Malay, but I have honest feelings. And I feel like a lot of people swing one way or the other too hard. Here's the truth. Here's the timeline. Event 1, this is like the worst way because I use text now. Why am I writing things? Event 1. Let me fucking write. I'm going to scream. I'm clicking it. Okay, fine. How about this? Okay. Event 1. Argentina in absolute economic chaos. Okay? This is not talked about enough. People that have such strong opinions on Malay, one way or another, do not talk enough about how Argentina was in the true hyperinflation era. Like true poverty, hyperinflation, horrendous economy, things getting measurably worse, like prices changing during the day. Like you get paid in the morning and you have to rush out and buy things because by the end of the day, the prices will be higher. Okay? That is the environment that led to Malay. So you get, guy with crazy chainsaw. Zoom out, I'll zoom in. How about that? Okay? So you get Chainsaw Man. I think they made an anime about him. Okay? That's event 2. And he comes in and says a lot of wild things, but one of the main things he says is he's going to cut the massive government deficit. And I had a comment. Someone said some crazy shit in the comment on my last Malay video, and I responded with a long thing about my thoughts. Here's the thing. If you have poverty in your country and your government finds a way to build houses for them or give them food, that's one thing. That can be effective. That is a sacrifice. The government is taking from something else to give that. That's something. But if the government prints pesos to give you money to buy food or give you money to buy housing, all that's doing is increasing the price of housing and increasing the price of food. Okay? Do you understand? They're just printing money. They're not making any sacrifice, and they're giving it to you. And all of Argentina was propped up on these absurd social programs they could not afford. You have to move real wealth around if you're trying to, you can't just print it. Okay? And so he promised to cut those, which I believe in, because I don't believe any country can sustainably run massive deficits without throwing the problem on a future generation. It doesn't work. It always ends up with somebody holding the bag and having a worse quality of life. Okay? They have a suffering generation because of your largesse. So I can see the rationale behind that. And here's step 3. Some of these things, not all of these things, it's complicated. I could do a whole video on it. But some of these things did work. It worked to stabilize the currency. It lowered inflation from like 90+% down to 2%. There was rental supply increase in Buenos Aires. They had some real effects, some real positive effects. Not all. Now, him personally is where I had some real problems, because he, one, endorsed the crypto scam, then backtracked, but it was problematic. Okay? And then 2, this is much worse, more damagingly, his sister was caught on tape saying that she was like siphoning 3% of all the payments that they hadn't cut towards like poor people. Okay? Like they have like a government program that like helps aid for, and she was like siphoning it. Okay? Now this is, I'm being too reductive. It's a little more nuanced than that, but that's how I took it. And that's, I think, a fair assessment. Okay. It was definitely like a 3% surcharge. Okay. It was corrupt. And so because of that, because of the sister corruption, there was a bit of a political scandal. Additionally, the shock value of cutting these programs, whether you economically agree with me that they don't work long-term, is going to be painful. It's going to be painful. Because your economy cannot support a bunch of people that, you have to have growing jobs. You can't just like cut them off and then leave them with nothing. So the poverty rate did increase. So it's complicated. I'm saying Argentina's a fucked country economically. It's fucked. There's no easy way out. A lot of things are going to happen. So because of both these things, his party lost an election in Buenos Aires. And because of that, everyone thought, oh, he's doomed in the real elections, which were yesterday. The real elections were on Sunday. People thought he was doomed. And because they thought he was doomed, most investors from other countries thought, oh my God, Argentina's going to go back exactly to the way it was. They're going to print like crazy. The peso is going to be devalued. I'm getting out. So they started pulling all their money out of Argentina, thinking he was about to lose. That's when we got the crazy fucking bailout from Besant, which I still think is a bad idea, even though it has worked out okay so far. And now step 3, shocker, he won. Okay, yesterday his party did really well. He needed like 35% of the parliament voting to be doing okay. He got like 42. I mean, they did really well. Okay, so in response, at least in the short term, it was very good. They're both their bonds and their currency. That means like the interest they have to pay to borrow money went down, okay? And the value of the peso surged after they won because people think, oh, he's going to be able to keep the reforms. So just understand that it's more nuanced. Anyone saying like, oh my God, he's purely saved Argentina, he's great, clearly not true. People that say, oh my God, he's terrible and nothing he's done has worked, also not true, bro. It's just not. It's just nuanced. It's a country that is in a fucking crisis and is making some good movements, some bad movements, and they're trying to figure it out, okay? Just understand. However, he did win this election. So I want to watch. There's a TLDR about it that I wanted to watch with you guys. I saved it. TLDR. Here we go.
Seats in the upper
Okay.
On Sunday, Argentina went to the polls for its congressional midterms, with roughly half of the seats in the lower house and a third of the seats in the upper house up for grabs. In what was widely seen as a make-or-break election for Argentina's embattled president Javier Milei, his La Libertad Avanza party outperformed the polls, beating the left-wing Peronist bloc by 10 points and securing a fresh mandate for his radical platform.
I will also say before they go on is the things I was reading, because I read Argentina news too, is like similarly to what I was talking about here with Gen Z. A lot of people in Argentina are upset at some of the things he's done. But many of the people polled said they were so afraid of going back. They were so afraid of going back to how it was that they voted for him. Like, they're going to give him a chance because they are so fucking afraid of returning to what it's still fresh in their mind of what it was. So you have to understand that, like, they can be disillusioned with the way some of the stuff has been going. But I just think any analysis of Argentina that doesn't recognize where this election started is too biased. It's too biased. Because for the average citizen, hyperinflation is unlivable. It's unlivable. You cannot meaningfully build a life. It's a quicksand. It's building a life on quicksand.
Form of economic reform. So in this video, we're going to explain why this election was so crucial for Milei, the results, and what might happen next. So, to understand why these elections were so important for Milei, you need to understand the interplay between Milei's economic project and his political prospects. In short, the success of Milei's economic project has always relied on him remaining popular enough to convince investors and the markets that his reforms are actually going to stick. After all, even if they like Milei's policies, foreign investors aren't going to invest in Argentina and aid its economic recovery.
Yeah, I should be clear. Like, they are buying Argentinian bonds, IOUs, for like 20 years. They're doing like 20-year IOUs, or if they're investing in pesos, that's money they have to hold for a while till they can use it to spend on something. So they have to believe not only that there's going to be real change, but that the change is going to stick for a long time. Even if they like what he's doing, they have to be skittish if they think he's going to lose. So that's why.
If they think Milei is just going to be replaced by another spendthrift Peronist in a couple of years' time, as usually happens in Argentina. Originally, it looked like things were going pretty well. Milei's approval ratings held high for most of his first year, and he made impressive progress balancing both Argentina's fiscal and trade deficits. This allowed him to get a fair bit of legislation through Argentina's Congress, despite the fact that the La Libertad Avanza party only held about 15% of the seats in the lower chamber. And that's because opposition parties were wary of being seen to obstruct a popular and apparently effective president. There was also some hope in Milei's camp that his original success might give way to a virtuous cycle, whereby his impressive approval ratings would convince investors that his reforms would stick, who would then pour money into Argentina, driving economic growth and pushing up Milei's own popularity, etc., etc. However, in the past couple of months, the reverse has started happening. And instead of a virtuous cycle, Milei has apparently got stuck in a sort of vicious cycle.
Yeah.
This really kicked off after a series of corruption scandals earlier in the year, which triggered a decline in Milei's approval ratings. And his party were then punished at the Buenos Aires provincial elections in early September, where they lost to the left-wing Peronists by 13 points. Worried that Milei's reforms would soon be stymied by the Peronists, foreign investors and anxious Argentinians responded by selling Argentinian assets, especially Argentina's currency, the peso. This was bad news for Milei, not least because a sharp devaluation in the peso would stoke inflation, increasing the cost of imports, undoing perhaps his most notable economic achievement, namely the stabilization of Argentina's monthly inflation rate. Now, Milei tried to stem the peso's decline by essentially hiking interest rates, but this put the brakes on Argentina's already stagnant economy and was ultimately insufficient. When the peso continued to decline, Milei then had to directly intervene and spend dollars buying up pesos. But this was clearly unsustainable, given Argentina's meager foreign exchange reserves. At this point,
again, just to explain what happens there, like if you're a country whose currency is getting weaker, you can shock the market and stabilize it by buying a ton of your own currency with dollars or with another currency, with euros, you can do that to sort of stabilize your currency. The problem is you need a fuck ton of dollars. China has this. Japan has this. Some countries have tons of foreign reserves, and they can use that to try and stabilize or defend their currency's value. Argentina doesn't have shit, bro. They're just broke as a joke, which is why they needed the bailout from America, the $20 billion swap line, to do this to begin with.
Like Milei was well and truly stuck in a vicious cycle, whereby his falling
They have
approval
Messi?
ratings
True.
were triggering market
True.
sell-offs, which were in turn undermining his economic project, thus pushing his approval ratings down even further. However, in late September, Milei was thrown a lifeline when the US announced that they were essentially bailing him out by providing a $20 billion swap line, which allows Argentina to convert pesos to dollars at a constant exchange rate. When this didn't stop the sell-off, the Trump administration took things a step further and literally spent hundreds of millions of dollars buying up pesos on currency markets. Now, both Milei and Trump would have been hoping that this support would get him out of this vicious cycle by providing some economic relief ahead of the midterms. But things didn't go perfectly to plan here. Not only did the peso continue to fall, reaching a new low of about 1,500 to the dollar last week, but the fact...
By the way, after this election, sorry to get into it, but after this election, now that he got a bit of a popular surge, he has a little more political power, he should just let the peso devalue to its actual value. Just fucking get it over with. Just the idea that you're going to constantly defend it at a incorrect price is absurd. Just get it over with, bro. Because it's not going to... Do it now before it's like you have time till the next election.
that he needed a bailout in the first place has undermined Milei's appeal as sort of an economic savant, and instead made him look more like your typical Argentinian politician, beset by corruption scandals and economic crisis. Moreover, the Trump administration's decision to condition support on a strong showing for Milei at the midterms caused a bit of a political storm. For context, Trump basically said he'd withdraw support if Argentinians didn't vote for Milei, telling reporters earlier this month, quote, "If Milei wins, we're staying with him, and if he doesn't, we're gone. We're not going to waste our time." Unsurprisingly, this didn't go down well with the opposition, who accused the US of interfering with Argentina's internal affairs.
They did a lot
with
of
the Peronist leader
ads on that.
declaring that, quote, "The Argentine economy is being managed with a remote control by the Treasury of the United States." Polls going into the election showed that Milei's lead had essentially evaporated, with both the La Libertad Avanza party and the Peronist Fuerza Patria coalition on about 37%. In the end, however, the polls were way off, and La Libertad Avanza ended up beating Fuerza Patria by about 10 points. As of Monday morning, with about 99% of the votes counted, La Libertad Avanza were on about 41%, while Fuerza Patria were on about 32%. Because it was only the midterms, only about half of the 257 seats in Argentina's lower chamber,
Yeah, that's
the
big,
Chamber
though.
of Deputies, were up for grabs, as were about a third of the seats in the upper house, the Senate. Projections suggest that Milei's party won 64 seats in the Chamber of Deputies
That's
and 12
huge.
in the Senate,
That's
which
huge.
would give him a total of 101 seats in the lower house and 20 in the upper. While he clearly doesn't have an outright majority, Milei now has at least a one-thirds blocking minority in the Chamber of Deputies, which essentially means that his presidential vetoes against opposition legislation cannot be overruled by a two-thirds majority in Congress. Without a majority, though, he'll still need support from opposition parties to pass legislation, but he's been pretty successful at this in the past, and his impressive performance at this election should make things easier for him. You get the idea then. Sunday's elections went pretty brilliantly for Milei, and to top it all off, because of this ongoing interplay between Milei's political prospects and his economic project, it's also been great news for the peso. While the Argentinian exchanges weren't open at the time of writing, on the crypto-based currency exchanges, where the Argentine peso trades 24 hours, the peso has strengthened about
Dude,
10% against the dollar.
I hate how we have to check crypto exchanges and fucking Polymarket and Kalshi to get real-time updates on shit nowadays. Because they all trade 24/7 and are full of fucking...
Trading at just over 1,300 to the dollar. This means that Milei should be able to just let the peso float, inflation won't surge, and he could probably start building back his foreign exchange reserves.
Yeah, do that.
All in all, well, the best strategy was probably just to avoid the corruption scandals that got him
Yeah, I mean, ideally, right? It is worth mentioning. This was a really low turnout election. As in, like I said, a lot of people are just drifting into nihilism, bro. They don't like fucking any option. They're not showing up. They're not voting. It's a big part of it. Okay, 100% worth noting. This disillusionment, especially young people.
trouble in the first place, Miele's gamble of artificially boosting the peso to give
Per Atrioc. Can we get a per Atrioc emote? I can make claims and we can all spam per Atrioc. That'd be fucking sick.
him an electoral boost seems to have paid off handsomely. And this is also pretty great news for the US Treasury, which will now
Although, what was the U.S. turnout in our last election? We had a pretty high. I think we've had higher turnouts since like past few elections. But U.S. turnout 2024. Percent. Voting turnout. 66%, I think. 66% in at least in 2020. I don't have 2024. So that's about what they got. So that's funny. Argentina's low turnout is 1% higher than our national turnout in our high turnout election. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Y'all gotta
now be able to
everyone's spamming 6-7. It's hard to defend democracy when you guys don't vote and you spam 6-7. I'm trying to advocate for young voters here. Okay? Not only do you not vote, you don't turn out, you go 6-7 Omega Wall. I was playing but if this might kill your love of 6-7, by the way. This might kill your love of 6-7. I was playing poker with Tafikins, who's like a 38-year-old man, 36 maybe. And he's got a kid, okay? He's a dad. And every time he got his two cards were 6-7, he would go 6-7, 6-7. And then he would bet fucking 67 chips. It was, okay? Understand that. He did that all night. Nah, that's awesome. Wait, you guys like that? Wait, he's hip with the kids? Actually so funny, based, that's so cool. That guy's a comedy genius. Interesting. Fucking interesting. That's wild. That's fucking wild. I feel like, I mean, 6-7 isn't really even Gen Z, bro. Let's be fucking real. It's Gen Alpha. What's interesting, though, is that, okay, remember when Skibbity happened? I feel like every Zoomer I talked to about Skibbity was like, this is my line. I feel old now. It's like, when I heard Skibbity, I feel like, oh, now I'm no longer. And then when they hear 6-7, they go, like, what the hell's the difference, bro? You guys jump on the 6-7 wave like it's yours. And fucking, for Skibbity, you were like, I really can't support it. I'm trying to be more loquacious with my vocabulary. And this Skibbity stuff is real brain rot. And then 6-7, you're fucking, it doesn't make any fucking sense, bro. Bro, I'm your age, and I know 6-7 and Italian brain rot has appeal. What the fuck are you talking to me like? You're not gonna convince me of shit, bro. Don't pretend. You just look bad to me. Don't act like bro. Okay, let me school you, youngin. Shut the fuck up, bro. Bro, I think I can speak as a fellow 34-year-old. Let me tell you. Shut up. Shut up, bro. No, it doesn't. You're not truth nuking me, pwned noob. Anyway. Any hoot. So that's the Malay update. We'll see what happens. I mean, you know, it's Argentina. Anything can happen. We all know the quote. There's developed economies, developing economies, Argentina and Japan. They're just different, bro. They do shit different there. But their stock market should surge on Monday, realistically. And yeah, I mean, look at the peso. Fucking massive, 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 massive spike. All right. What else do I want to talk about? I mean, there's so much shit, bro. There's so much shit. Scrandal break? Fucking hate Scrandal, bro. I fucking hate Scrandal. Can you dump their 40 bill? Can US dump their 40 bill, make a quick buck? Yeah, actually. The United States could take the pesos and shift them back and make a profit on when they loaned them. I don't think they're going to do that because it would probably undo their fucking progress. But they technically, if they sold right now, then it was a great trade. and it wasn't a bailout and America made money on it. Technically, I got to be honest. That's the truth. Oh, speaking of Gen Z men and Trump, there was a video I wanted to watch, but I didn't, we could pump and dump them, I guess. Like the whole thing was a fake out to get through one election. And then there was actually, okay. There was this 12-minute video.
If you agree, raise your hand. Trump is following through on his promises.
Just been lackluster.
So it's Gen Z men that voted for Trump and they're following up with them. Okay. And I brought like half of them still support him, half of them have been less. And I thought it would be good because it's actual people. I have not watched this video.
Mixed bag. I'm not saying that he's a perfect man. Trust me, he's not.
In November, Trump took over a key block of voters, young men.
That guy's
6
Gen Z,
months,
looks 30.
nearly 200 executive orders, multiple military actions, and a massive spending bill later.
It's going to make this country into a rocket ship.
How many people here think Trump is a perfect man? Because I feel like my audience is like 95% Trump voters. I feel like most people here are diehard MAGA. He has made no mistake. So I feel like we could all raise our hand. He hasn't had any flaws yet. People keep talking about it, but I haven't seen him make any mistakes. I mean, like, even if you don't like his policies, you can agree that him as a man is perfect. Just in his personal life, just the way he conducts himself, you know? It's classy. It's like, maybe I don't... There's just a certain class to it. Honestly, I don't agree with any of his positions, but I voted for him just because of he brings a certain kind of class to the job, a dignity to the role. I just want the White House to I think Joe Biden was too cavalier. He goofed around too much. He was a little je ne sais quoi. Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be really great.
We checked in with 6 of these voters.
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to have this conversation.
To find out what they think of his job so far.
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history.
I'm going to say a statement, and you guys are going to raise your hand if you agree with the statement. President Trump's deportation plan is moving too slowly.
Too slowly?
Let's start with the people who agree.
Are these the same 3 people that said they were happy with him? Let me make sure.
This
is Jaden, Atticus, and Cooper. Let's just check.
If you agree, raise your hand. Trump is following through on his promises.
I fucking lost them. No, it's not. So interesting. So, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Some Gen Z that are turning away from Trump are doing it because he's not right enough. Atticus is like fucking Trump. Is not nearly deporting enough. That's super funny. Well, not funny, really. Kind of crazy. But this was happening.
Satisfied. Like
sample size 6. I mean, we already talked about at the beginning of the stream all the wider polling, but this is an interesting reaction of real people. I'm interested in hearing it.
Who agree?
Immigration, he was gonna be like bam, 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 but it's kind of like going a little slow, and feel like we're getting just enough to be satisfied.
He hasn't even beaten Obama with deportations so far that I know of. He made an exception for agricultural workers. He's like, okay, well, that's kind of a big section of the population there.
I mean, I feel a little differently. I feel like the border is arguably the number one thing that he's held his promise on. You talked about the deportation numbers, and I get it. It didn't surpass Obama. But in terms of trying to solve the problem, trying to stop people from coming in that aren't coming here the right way or legally, right? So that on that hand, I think that he has been, fulfilling his promise.
There should be an easier process for immigrants to enter or work in the country legally.
Everybody agrees.
I understand that illegal immigration is what he campaigned on, but he did promise in a lot of his speeches that he would look into the issues of H-1B visas and green cards.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card.
That was something that really made me inclined towards Trump, and the lack of accountability and the lack of clear messaging regarding that topic is also making me frustrated on how I see that Trump isn't delivering on that promise.
My dad is Mexican, and I've got a lot of Mexican family. And he came over illegally, but then he self-deported. He's trying to get his green card to come back. And no one is...
I'm going to watch the game at a bar.
You're going to watch the game. Let's go Dodgers. We're a Dodgers family around here. All right? We support them. We cheer for them. Fucking love baseball, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
You know what my favorite part about baseball is when they...
Not watching it.
They hit the ball out of the park.
Yeah, the home runs are pretty fun.
That's what we call them. We call them home runs. All right, have fun. That's what we call them. A home run, as we say in the baseball community. Bit of an all-around sports guy, me.
Is working on that because it's going to be like a decades-long process, and we're like, what's the point?
He has taken some action. I know it's not a lot or stuff that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a horrendous fucking green card system. Horrendous. Years and years and years and decades of limbo. It's a gigantic pain in the ass. Our you know, it's not. They have to go hand in hand. I think a lot of people do want secure border, legal path to immigration, yada 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 yada. But you have to make it doable. you have to make a clear, defined, easy process people can go into. That's the win-win. Otherwise, it's a fucking it's a black market that exists because there's no option. Although you can buy a gold card for $5 million. I don't know why people don't do that. I don't know why more people that are coming into this country to work low labor farm jobs don't just buy the $5 million gold card. Are they poor or what's going on? I don't understand. That'd be embarrassing if they were poor.
Like to see, but the main issue and the main problem of what we were originally running on is that there was a flood of people who came in illegally, right? And the past administration just didn't really care about it. In order to have a civilized country, in order to have a country, we have to have borders, we have to have, law and order.
So we're going to end these endless wars. They never separate.
I am happy with the president's approach to foreign policy.
All right, I was saying one more thing about this. I made my point on this a million times, but so where's that graph? Because they tried to. I mean, they did fact check this guy. It's a true fact, but where's that graph? So like this is a real thing for concern. All right, like this is post COVID. The rate of border crossings got astronomical because the world was shaken up during COVID and this happened. All right, there's something to be said about that. That is a different problem from grabbing people who have lived here for 20 years with an unmarked van and locking them with ICE. That's such a different thing. That's like lumping that all under the same immigration policy is such a fucking bait and switch. It's disgusting amalgamation of the two problems. Because you could agree that this is something that needs to be addressed by the government and not agree with how anything else is being handled. So Yeah, that's how I feel about that. And oh, what's up? Oh, you just left. Okay. Where was I? I also want to say, we watched that video about Japan. I think even among these people in this video and among people online and in general, I still think that immigration is just overly talked about as the source of problems. I understand that it can cause social change in an area, especially if it's really aggressive. There's a lot of it in a short period of time. I get that. I am more moderate, I think, than a lot of people. But it still keeps, I think its importance is still dramatically overstated. It's dramatically overstated. And I think that Japan video, I encourage people to watch it if you can. I love that video. The one by a Japan Analysis that we reacted to. I thought that video was just a perfect distillation of how it's never enough. It's never fucking enough. It doesn't matter how small the immigration number is. People will always turn to it as a way to explain problems. It's always. And so, like, if people ever promise you that that's the reason, just have a second look, bro. Think about it more. Because it's just proof. Like, all these different countries, no matter how much or how little there is, it still gets used in the same way.
In order to have a civilized country, in order to have a country, we have to have borders. We have to have, law and order.
And we're going to end these endless wars. They never stop.
I am happy with the president's approach to foreign policy.
Damn.
He's been trying on the war in Ukraine.
Come on. Like, come on, bro. He's been trying? That's what that... Bro said he'd end it day one. It never would have happened day one. Like, it was the most number one promise. We did the math. We added up all the... It was the most promised thing was day one. And now it's like he's trying, That's wild to me. That's wild.
I mean, obviously, he's got a big mouth. He says, "Oh, it's going to be solved in the first week that I'm here."
I will settle the war in Ukraine before I even take office. I'll settle this president-elect.
It's like he's trying. And by the way, when you say he's trying, I know that everybody doesn't follow this stuff that closely, and I totally get it. We all have a million things going on in our lives. You're a fucking young guy trying to get a job, get shit figured out. I don't blame people. I honestly don't. But his trying is like dramatic, wild swings of flip-flopping. Like, he comes in, screams at Zelensky, tries to go all in with Putin. Then Putin dog walks him at the Alaska summit, rambles about Russian history for 3 hours, makes no progress, no change, doesn't follow through anything. So Trump flip-flops completely, turns on Putin, says he's going to fucking join with Europe and sanction him. Then, like a week ago, flips right back. Like, it's like he's just scrambling from one side to another, trying to take whatever side will give him an end so that he can try to put it in his Nobel Peace Prize elect package. But there's no like coherent plan. There's no like coherent, like, I have a side that I'm sticking to for a larger strategic or moral reason, and we're going to do something. It's more like week to week, whoever he last talked to.
We all know it's not going to end in the first week of your presidency, not even in the first 7 to 8 months of your presidency, but he did end the war with Iran and Israel.
The statement that Trump solved the issue, I wouldn't agree on that. We did know that Israel was going to attack Iran. And the fact that we didn't do anything to stop them is something that I find quite hypocritical.
The U.S. did not need to strike Iran.
I was against it at first because I thought that bombing them would
Wait, who's on which side?
An all-out war. But I think what we did with that was sufficient enough, because I think Iran having nuclear bombs isn't good for anybody.
I don't think we should have bombed them. I feel like things could have been a bit more diplomatic in a sense. I know Iran doesn't really like America a whole ton, but to say that as soon as they get a nuke, they're going to blow us up. We have defenses, and that's also just like the worst case scenario ever. I just don't think that would be super plausible in a sense.
Jaden, they want us dead. I'm sorry.
So
but
my question is, why do you think they want us dead? So I think it's very easy to make statements like this, but we don't understand the history of why Iran is acting antagonistic.
I have a
towards
great
America.
video on it. If you want to watch it, it's on the, where did I do that presentation? Was it Lemonade Stand? It's like in the first third of some Lemonade Stand. I really, it's worth watching. It goes through all the history. I think it's pretty good.
It's not
I'm
about.
pretty proud of it.
It's not necessarily
per
about just
Atrioc.
understanding the history behind it. It's about what they openly say. You know what I'm saying? They chant down the streets. I mean, there's videos all over the place of death to America.
I just would have preferred if there was some sort of way to talk it out rather than absolutely curb stomping them, you know? Because I feel like if any of us were curb stomped, we'd be a little salty. And you don't want an enemy that wants to nuke you to be salty.
Israel and U.S. relations have always been really strong. They've been one of our closest allies. We've always been one of their closest allies. And I feel like to not take action would have just been kind of leave them hanging rather than, starting a land war. Just a precision surgeon going in and cutting out the tumor that we needed was just what we needed at that time.
The U.S. should do more to help the Palestinians.
2 to 4.
Things that Israel has done to Palestine and to Gaza in general have been, pretty unspeakable. I think that I saw the statistic that they've, killed 2% of Gaza's population.
Interesting.
Now, I obviously don't think we should send weapons to Palestine at all. I just think that we should, send aid, send food, send medical
Cooper.
equipment to Palestine. I think that it would be, really helpful for them, and I think it'd also be a really good look for the United States.
You think Cooper's too woke?
Them, but I feel like we have such deep ties with Israel that either we have to support them or.
Someone in chat said he's an I show speed Republican. That's a new voting block. I'll not Cooper, not this guy. That's funny.
Not support anyone at all.
Do you think?
Honestly, though, yeah, sure. This is who fucking Chuck Schumer and Hakeem aren't getting. They're not getting the I show speed Republicans. They can flip them.
Should support Israel or not anyone at all?
I feel like they shouldn't be involved in that conflict whatsoever.
The bigger thing is we should get a ceasefire going. We should try to start new talks for, a solution to this whole conflict, etc.
The U.S. should be more involved in helping Ukraine.
Okay, I do want to know, like, they open with all this foreign policy stuff. I don't want to watch too many hours or minutes of my life watching 20-year-olds debate foreign policy. I wanted to hear their thoughts on the economy. I guess we'll get there. It's not that long of a video.
Feel the need that we should be in any foreign wars. I just think that in this particular situation, you're trying to pursue peace. That's great, but when one side is not, cooperating, then you're kind of left with no other choice.
My fundamental perspective on this is, again, context and history matters. It's very easy to say support one side and say Palestinian people we have to support Ukrainians. But why is Russia attacking Ukraine? If we don't understand these regions and we try to malign one group, that poses a problem, because then that will lead to these groups that the U.S. is fundamentally antagonistic towards. They will not engage in negotiation.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
The Trump administration is being transparent with the Epstein files.
I think maybe that he's covering up something.
Oof! That's a 0 for 6?
President Trump is in the Epstein files, because I feel like if he was, that would have came out a long time ago to, destroy his campaign.
I want him to be at least some semblance of honest, or at least lie better, because this is just a disgrace, in my opinion, in just every way.
We're going to make America affordable again.
They moved on so quickly. That's it. Talking about that for 2 seconds, bro. I had to hear them fucking explain the tactics to win the war in Ukraine for 5 minutes. I had to hear whether we should take the Donbass or not, and now I don't know the fucking Epstein file. That's like that stuff people know a lot about or have more of a strong opinion on. I guess they all agreed, so there's no debate.
Going to get him down quickly?
I feel optimistic about my economic future.
Yeah, I think it's going to be okay.
Really?
I think it's going to be, obviously the housing bubble is pretty terrible. I don't think any of us are going to own a house.
I'm
I'm sure it
shocked by
costs,
that.
But in terms of
I'm interested in
general,
hearing,
just,
though.
like, what the government has control of, I feel like we're heading in the right
Really,
direction.
Moses?
I think one thing that I always like to look at is when my parents bought this house that I've always lived in 2001, the average household income was $30,000 less than it is now. But if you look at the home cost, it was actually $250,000.
Cooper's got ChatGPT open in a window. Reading fucking talking points while he's
$50,000 less than it is now. Obviously, Moses was saying that we got to wait for the house bubble to pop, but you look at that difference, and it's hard to be optimistic looking at your future.
I want to hear the rest of them.
Do you guys feel that anything Trump is doing is helping you work towards that goal or hurting you?
I know you mentioned something during his campaign about like housing interests.
So interest rates is probably what he's talking. Trump is
Interest rates, yes. Interest rates, yes.
That's actually not done by Trump. That's the Federal Reserve, and that is based on a number of factors, including inflation.
Trump did appoint Jerome Powell to the position. I would say Trump's influence does impact a lot of departments, and that influence is what makes me hopeful that my economic future will be.
Wait, what? When was this recorded? Chathin supports Trump's economic decisions because he appointed Jerome Powell. He's trying to fire him every day. Wait, when was this actually recorded? Low key. 2 months ago? Was that before or after all this Trump Powell stuff happened? That's all, it's all blurred to me. I feel like that's crazy. Like, I don't blame if someone doesn't know what fucking interest rates are. I don't care. Like, this is a bubble of a chat. We're talking about interest rates, bro. I think most people don't give a fucking flying fuck. I don't care. But I think it's crazy to be like, yeah, I think I trust his economic decisions because he appointed Jerome Powell. I mean, he did, but he is constantly trying to fire him in this term.
Prosperous.
He calls him too late Jerome every
Who
day.
the president has some effect, and especially with specific things like the tariffs. But overall, the economy moves on its own. I don't think you can blame Trump or not blame Trump for anything that's happening yet.
We will stop wasteful spending and big government special interest giveaways and finally stand up for the American taxpayer, which hasn't happened since I was president. We stood up. We stood up.
Oh, this is like Doge stuff.
Elon Musk effectively cut down government waste.
It definitely helped us with awareness.
Really?
And knowing that there were some areas that we were kind of just...
Bro, Cooper, you are a mystery to me, bro. Cooper is pro-Doge, anti-Trump in the economy? I can't even follow where you thought that shit worked, but these guys are bouncing around. I don't even understand it.
Throwing money around.
Keep them guessing. You gotta keep them guessing, bro. You gotta keep them guessing. Hell, I respect it, bro. You never let them know your next move.
I mean, I think they should continue their efforts. I think Trump should do a better job at cutting down at the deficit. I know he's been trying, but you can argue that the bill recently passed didn't help that much at all.
They did do a lot of good things.
You could argue that. I would make that argument. I think you can make a strong argument. I actually don't think you can argue the other side very well, to be quite honest.
It just wasn't enough. It was just a drop in the bucket.
I think Elon Musk got rid of a lot, and there's probably more. But that's not a large portion of the budget.
Telematicus!
Doing stuff, and people are going to have arguments as to why we should have it, but you need to make the hard decisions and cut them, which nobody wants to do.
People just don't understand that the comfortable and cushy life that we live here in America, regardless of your status, whether you're poor, broke, or rich, we still live at a point of privilege where the government can take care of us. Yeah, but people don't understand that, and that's why no one wants to cut anything.
I think the big problem is politicians get elected on promising people things. They don't get elected on cutting things as much as...
Telematicus!
The Democratic
Wait,
system.
what? Okay, what? So why the fuck are you... Michael, why are you giving him credence and you're on this side of the fucking vote? You're like, yeah, good point. That's the only point. That's what happened.
On cutting things as much as
I don't
we
know.
want them to. So, the democratic system.
I feel like Michael's saying the opposite of what he voted and then also agreeing with this.
And you money.
That's how you get votes, Atticus. That's how you get votes. You start giving money out. If you give money out, you pay somebody $100, they'll vote for you.
If the election were to happen today, knowing what I know now, I would change my vote. Jathan, not to call you out, because you disagreed with so many, not everything,
no
but many
vote
things
change.
he's done. But you're saying overall, because
That's,
you've
I
heard
mean, the
from
election
these
was
guys
today,
because
though.
of
They're
the
saying
things
versus Harris.
they like, and also
Tough
they
to get
didn't
these people to
like
vote for
everything.
Harris.
You're like, I'm glad I voted how I did.
Before I met my colleagues here, I would have definitely not voted for Trump. I would have stayed neutral and voted for an independent candidate. But I think after hearing my colleagues talk about why they support Trump and their reasons and their plans for America, I'm starting to feel a bit more confident about the silent majority, as we could call it, or the young adults who supported Trump. I still think he's trying his best, and I think he's doing a much better job than what Kamala Harris would have done if she were to become president.
Yeah, it's still a Kamala thing,
It
though.
is
I can't.
totally and 1,000% okay to scrutinize the president, especially the president that you voted for, to scrutinize him and criticize him. And that's part of what makes America great, is that we can do that. I know we disagreed on this podcast, but I agree with you. We can still do better. He's not 100% perfect. I'm not saying that he's a perfect man. Trust me, he's not. But, I just want to say, listen, it's okay. We can criticize the president, and that's totally fine. We can change our
All right.
opinion, and it's by having conversations like these.
I so appreciate all of you guys
Amen,
sharing your
brother.
thoughts, being really honest. I learned a ton.
Well, that was an interesting video. I would be better to watch at the time because I'm trying to remember what 2 months ago, what was in the news, what was going on. There was also, I really wanted to watch, speaking of world leaders, honestly, my opinion, and I'll tell you the truth, all those guys were too woke for me, straight up, all 6 of them. I listened to them talk and I was like, what are these fucking blue-haired fucking college students rambling about, bro? Seriously. That's what I felt. That's just me, though. Hey, Big Gliz. Oh, you want me to watch a video, I say? Not today. Not today. Brother, as a non-American, this confused me. I feel like I know where my American runs with these guys. It's a bit of a bubble. Not only this chat, but my Clips channel. Because, that's something I have to plan for if I want to not get just fucking Tylenol eating politics people online. It's like when you talk about political stuff, you're gonna attract people who want to talk about political stuff, and that means they're more interested and informed in it. You have to fucking but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Anyway, I wanted to watch. We don't have to watch all of it, but I do think it looks fucking interesting. It's like doing really well for this kind of video. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, the FT did a video 4 days ago with the Prime Minister of Singapore. Singapore, extremely interesting country, really built from nothing by Lee Kuan Yew, really turned that country into a economic powerhouse by being small. And they did an interview with him, and it got 1 million views in 4 days, which FT does not normally get that kind of views. And apparently, again, I haven't watched it, but look at the other stuff. I just watched the very beginning. Is like he is shockingly. Oh, that looks interesting too. The graduate job apocalypse. Where's all the entry-level jobs gone? Yeah, talk about young people getting pissed about the economy. They're the ones hitting this. But I think this would be interesting. He's got motion.
Well,
He's
Prime
got motion. He's got some aura.
Singapore is perhaps the most globalized country in the world. And you like rules, you like precision, you like mathematics.
We like stability.
You like predictability.
Yes, of course.
You like
Who doesn't?
stability.
Who doesn't?
You must be having to adapt to a new world order.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit whether this requires fundamental change in the way that Singapore operates.
We are certainly in the midst of a
Does he have that
great
iron in him?
transition
Possibly.
to a multipolar world.
Wait, you got to guess this. To know about Singapore, you have to watch the You Have Iron clip. I'm sorry. That's the opener before we do anything else. have that iron in him.
I can tell you that when I met the SIA pilots, I didn't meet them on TV. I met them, took them 65 minutes. They did as much talking as I did, a lot of them in answer to my questions. Okay. And they decided, okay, it isn't worth the fight. Why? Because they know they lose. They know that I'm prepared to ground the airline. They know that I can get the airline going again without them. And let there be no mistakes about this. Whoever governs Singapore must have that iron in him or give it up. This is not a game of cards. This is your life and mine. I spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down.
Aura, dude. Pure aura. Pure fucking aura. And again, Singapore's, quality of life, standard of living, income, GDP per capita, they all roared under him and are in a good spot now. So this is Lawrence Wong, and he's the current leader of Singapore. Now again, Singapore has political. They're not really problems yet, but they could be in that they have essentially a one-party state. It has an election, but the other parties can never win. So it's like soft authoritarian. But the thing is, the reason those type of systems fail is because you get somebody in power with unchecked power who's terrible. But they haven't had that yet. They've had like reasonable, intelligent people. So when you have that, it does work. It just it breaks because of how you have no release valve. There might be due. Anyway, let's hear it. So he's saying we're transitioning to a multipolar world, a post-American order. Let's see.
Certainly in the midst of a great transition to a multipolar world, a post-American order and a multipolar world. No one can tell how the transition will unfold, but there is no doubt it will be messy and unpredictable because America is stepping back from its role as global insurer, but there is no other country that's able to or willing to fill the vacuum.
True.
So we are in an uncomfortable position where the old rules do not apply anymore, but the new ones have not been written.
Yeah.
And we must brace ourselves for more turbulence ahead. So what a joy it would be to have a leader that saw the world as clear-eyed as that. Seriously. Because that is what's happening. And the late 2020s and maybe even early 2030s are going to be like the story of this, the story of new rules getting written, new things getting figured out, new alliances getting shifted. And it's like so important to, especially if you're leading a country, to be super hyper aware of that and trying to figure that out and adapt, and not trying to cling to any ideas from the past. We to do in this environment. I think we cannot afford to just wait for things to happen or hope somehow that things magically will fall in place.
Yeah, he's spitting for sure.
We have to take actions now, plan now and start taking actions to invest together in tackling the problems of the global commons or in building new trade connections and keeping up the momentum of trade liberalization. So that's something that Singapore is keen to do. We can't do it alone, but we will do it with other like-minded countries.
Can you envision a world without the US?
The US may not be able or willing to join these plans now, but we have to press ahead. And hopefully in time to come, they will come along as well. But given the uncertainties and the unpredictabilities, we cannot just leave things to chance.
True.
We have to start taking actions now to lay the foundations of the new multilateral architecture.
But there are two views that the next few years are more of a passing phenomenon, or that there are deep structural changes.
Door number two! Door number two, lady!
Living. You are in the second camp.
Yes, we are. We are, because we believe what has happened in America is not just a temporary phenomenon. It reflects broader change in political culture, and also in American society itself, a feeling that America has not benefited from the current global order that it had put in place, and it is not prepared to do as much of the heavy lifting to keep the order going.
Yeah.
And I think that goes beyond this administration.
Yeah.
Some of this sentiment justified. Does Donald Trump have a point when he says that the US has been taken for granted, that it's been taken advantage of?
Some of it may well be justified.
I'm so interested in this
the sense
answer.
That there may well have been free riders, so to speak, and countries do need to do more to invest in their own economic security and also stability. We do that in Singapore. We have never taken it for granted. We have consistently invested year by year in our own security and our defense, and also facilitated America's presence in the region. Certainly what the Trump administration has done is to motivate and catalyze many countries to do this self-reflection, and you see that happening now. More countries are indeed investing in defense.
There's certainly self-reflection.
So
you see it in Europe, and people are taking
but
matters
the
into their own hands.
alternative, but so while there may be truth in some of this, of what Mr. Trump has said, and the positive result of this is countries taking more responsibility and spending more on their own security, we worry that the consequence of these actions will also mean, as I just said, a weakening of the global order today.
Yeah.
And we think there's no going back.
Yeah.
There will be a new multipolar world. Multipolarity itself does not provide a stable framework for countries to work together,
This
to
guy's
cooperate,
spitting, bro.
and to
I agree
ensure
so hard.
shared prosperity and security. So we have to think about what we can do together to engender that.
Does this multipolarity...
He's got wisdom. He's got
Here's
a rare quality in a leader.
Because you often look at the way the US administration operates, and it looks like what the president prefers are sort of three strong countries. That wouldn't work very well for Singapore, would it?
We hope it will not end up like that, because if the world ends up in exclusionary blocks and fears of influence, I think it will be more dangerous and unstable. So from our point of view,
Yeah, I mean, that is a
multipolarity
real outcome.
should still have a way to bring about global connections. We would prefer a world where ASEAN in Southeast Asia, we are a platform that allows for open and inclusive engagement.
Get this guy on the
with all
pod,
major
he would
powers.
probably never do it, but that'd be awesome to talk to.
ASEAN
He'd be so awesome to talk to.
could become a more credible bloc.
Dude, oh wait, I gotta say,
politically,
I can't say who, but we got reached out to by 2 different tech CEOs to be on the podcast. Neither of them are Elon Musk. Just so you know. 2 different tech CEOs. Isn't that crazy? We're not sure if we're gonna do it. You know, it sounds crazy, but there are some strings possibly, and we gotta negotiate. But theoretically, because we gotta be able to. I'm not an aggro interviewer by any means. I generally want to just get their point of view, and then we can discuss it on our own. But I want to be able to ask everything I want to ask. So we'll see. Unless it's Lena Khan, then I'm pressing her. When it's Lena Khan, the attack dogs come out, dude. When it's Lena Khan, I can't. There's no question that I won't triple down on. All right.
So economically.
Certainly, we have ambitions to do so.
I know that this is what Singapore
fangs
hopes
come out.
for, but are there concrete moves to make it such?
I wouldn't, first of all, belittle the achievements of ASEAN. Southeast Asia is a very diverse region, highly complex, made up of so many different ethnicities, languages, religions. It used to be called the Balkans of Asia because of the geographical fragmentation and the potential for instability. And yet, all these decades, since the end of the Vietnam War, Southeast Asia has been able to maintain relative peace and avoided major conflicts. And
economically boom.
To ASEAN. ASEAN is certainly not perfect, but it is indispensable. And we are continuing to build on the foundations that have been laid. There are plans to accelerate ASEAN integration to make ourselves a more attractive and competitive single market. And in some ways, the tariffs imposed by America have indeed catalyzed and motivated ASEAN leaders to come.
Oh, what? The tariffs are motivating countries all around the world to build trading blocks outside of us? That even if they get us some small pittance in the short term, they're creating deep networks of connection outside of America that only makes us weaker in the long term? That's fucking crazy. And this guy who has no problem with America at all and can even lend credence to some of what Donald Trump is saying is understanding, explaining that in a wise way, that what we're doing is inherently self-defeating? That's fucking crazy.
Together with more urgency on this endeavor.
So you got off pretty lightly, but of course the US does not have a trade deficit in goods or in services with Singapore, so you got 10%. It's not the same for your neighbors. They have some of the highest tariffs. So there is a growing sense in the region that the US under Trump has turned its back on Southeast Asia. Do you agree?
The actions of the tariffs have certainly impacted America's standing in Southeast Asia. There is no doubt. But I would say all Southeast Asian countries still recognize that America remains the largest investor in the region, not China. China is the largest trading partner, but as far as FDI flows are concerned, America remains the largest investor. America still has significant stakes in Asia, and all of us in Southeast Asia want to maintain good links with America. And that's why many countries have had extensive negotiations
make it so hard for
with the US, and eventually they have landed on slightly lower tariffs.
More around 19%. It's interesting how now we think of 10 or 20% as practically as relief.
I agree fully with you.
But we started with nothing.
Exactly. So from our point of view, the correct figure is 0%, but 10% has become the new normal. What to do?
You could, though, still suffer from semiconductors.
Their convo's fun. I mean, it's just two intelligent people going back and forth about real shit. It's actually, this is crack. I like this. This is a great conversation.
Pharmaceuticals.
The questions are good. The answers are good.
Are you in discussion with the US? And do you think that you will get exemptions?
Remains to be seen. We are in discussions with the American officials on this. But from what we understand...
I mean, look, every time the question, and it's a smart question, is asked, he just answers that question directly. He doesn't go back to a talking point. He doesn't fucking, he just listens to the question and answers it. Is he stupid? How the fuck is he going to get votes with this? Well, he hasn't mentioned fucking Sleepy Joe once, by the way, which is boring.
Some of the large American firms, like the pharmaceutical companies, some of them on their own have already negotiated their own exemptions because they are investing back in America.
So these are the pharmaceutical companies in Singapore,
That's right.
Right? They're American companies. They're investing in America, so they get their own exemptions.
That's right. So we are, looking at this in greater detail also to understand fully what's the impact on our economy.
You're a logistics hub. There are a lot of re-exports from Singapore, and supply chains have been disrupted because there is pressure also from the US to remove Chinese elements. From
big problem for Singapore.
Supply chains. Have you felt this pressure, and what impact has it had?
Not so much on the overall flows, because if you look at global figures, trade flows continue. They are just being reconfigured into new patterns of trade. And so long as they are continuing, especially in Asia, Singapore can remain a relevant node. And we see that continuing to be the case. And we are determined to remain at the center of these global patterns.
I know that you...
Yeah, like, for example, instead of going, China, Singapore, America, it'll go China, Vietnam, Singapore, America, so they can relabel it to avoid the tariff. It's not going to change the fucking global trade flow because everyone's fucking dodging the shit anyway. So the transshipping.
We're under pressure to stop US advanced chips from getting to China, right? Advanced chips that you get in Singapore. What are you doing to stop these flows?
Well, our position is very clear. We've established a business hub on the basis of our reputation for rule of law and trust. And so we are determined and fully committed to maintain the integrity of our business environment. We will not tolerate businesses violating our laws. We'll take strict actions. And when it comes to export controls, we will also not condone businesses or individuals taking advantage of their association with Singapore to circumvent the export controls of other countries.
All right, but to be clear, it is happening. I mean, I think his answer's fine, but to be clear, it is happening. Like Singapore, and it's just a reaction to what will happen. Like, it's the Napoleon continental system. It's whatever. If you try to whack-a-mole control black market something, there will be a way in. Singapore as a commerce hub becomes that way in for NVIDIA chips to China. They go through Singapore to get to China. That's how they get there.
So where America is concerned, what we have done is put in place robust arrangements so that the US government can take actions, investigate companies of interest in Singapore if they so wish. And we will also extend...
I think that's even fair. That's a fair answer, because it's like saying, listen, this is an impossible whack-a-mole game. We're going to give you complete freedom to deal with it as you want, but you can spend all the money and time trying to hunt it down forever. That's a great answer. Because honestly, like if America wants to spend tons of money and tons of effort to try and fucking hunt down every single GPU smuggler in fucking Singapore, they can do it. It'll just keep happening somewhere else. It'll keep, if you want to have the endless, it's like the fucking, war on drugs or whatever. If you want to try and hit the supply and never hit the demand, you can go for it forever. You can, whatever, but it's not our money, not our time.
Similar arrangements for other countries if they would like also to have the same treatment where it comes to their export controls. Because nowadays, export controls is not limited to America only.
I know, China's got rare
Are you
earths.
surprised that economic growth hasn't really suffered? Tariffs were supposed to do a lot of damage. And yet, whether you look at the global economy, the recent IMF report, or indeed in Singapore, economic growth has not yet been affected. Did we get it wrong?
No, I don't think we got it wrong. I think there are several reasons for it. One, the actual rollout of the tariffs have not been as high as what they initially were indicated to be. Second, there has been a lot of front-loading of activities.
I mean, that's the big
which
one.
has dampened the impact. And third, generally speaking, because of AI, because of new technologies, the rest of the economy has been quite resilient so far. But there will be an impact. I think we already start to feel it in our own economy.
This guy's wise as fuck.
In many ways, we always say the Singapore economy is like the canary in the coal mine, because we are so open and so exposed to the external environment. We are the first.
What the fuck did AI do? It's not about the effects of AI. Not like AI is dramatically increasing productivity or anything. It's that the spend on AI has kept a lot of things afloat. At least here in America. Like, of our GDP growth, I don't remember the exact number, if it's 3.4, 3.1% of that is due to data center AI spend. So much money is being spent to build out power, build out data centers. So if we didn't have this gigantic vacuum of money towards AI, there would be almost no growth. It's the only thing that's growing.
External environment starts to weaken. We didn't feel it in the first half of this year.
So how are you feeling it now?
We are starting to feel some slowdown now. As
interesting.
we approach the second half of this year. Because of uncertainty, businesses are holding back on new investments and new hiring, and we are starting to
hope they don't start firing.
Slowdown in business activities.
I'm just wondering how you and your neighbors navigate the tensions between the US and China.
Impossible.
There may be a trade deal, there may not be a trade deal. One day it's on, one day it's off. How difficult is it for you?
I suppose we have to take a step back and look at, first of all, the US and China relationship itself.
Dude, I gotta say, the reason I'm loving this interview so far is I'm actually excited to hear his answer to every question, because he knows so much more. Like, usually when you're watching these interviews, you already know what they're going to say before they say it, because they have talking points. But I actually want to hear his POV on every one of these questions, because I'm going to learn something from a guy who's like deeply living this every day. It's actually interesting.
It's the most consequential
and he's not
in the world.
He's also not lying. I mean, maybe there's more he could say for sure, but he's not like he's not clearly trying to redirect back to a safer thing to say. He's like answering these hard questions that could piss people off.
And it's also
it's kind of like when I talk about Twitch chat. It's like I feel very similar to when I hear Twitch chat talk. It's like you guys are just dropping wisdom after wisdom after wisdom, and it's like sometimes I don't even want to stream. I want to just stare there and listen to you guys. I just want to shut up and listen because you guys are dropping so much knowledge. I assume at some point he's going to say glizzy, 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 coffee cow moo. And I'm going to be like, wow, brilliant. He might be in here right now. Guys, I have to pee really badly. I'll finish this interview in just a second. I got to pee so badly. And refill my water. Couple stomps. Quietest Atrioc stomp. Shut up. I don't stomp. That was a joke. That was a joke stomp. Okay? It's not real. Not tsunami warning. Atrioc on the court, we call him the bricklayer. I had a pretty bad game on Sunday, honestly. I was fucking... I don't know. There wasn't Austin Reeves out there, I'll tell you that. Okay, wait. It's because you didn't pray. Atrioc got that iron in his feet. Fat Luca coming back. Bro, Austin Reeves is the black Luca, I'll say that. That's what happens when you shave. All right. What was the question?
Most consequential of the U.S. and China.
U.S. and China relationship is the most consequential relationship in the world. I agree. Extremely important. It's the big national divorce that is causing ripple effects throughout everything.
China relationship itself, it's the most consequential relationship in the world, and it's also the most dangerous fault line in international relations.
Yep.
For now, you can see both countries wanting to insulate themselves from each other.
Yeah.
But there are also many interdependencies between them. Their economies are deeply intertwined, and they are looking at potential points to use as leverage. But when one economy squeezes, the other squeezes back right away. So you end up in a path and a dynamic of mutually assured destruction. We see this happening already, as you know, even now. And furthermore, when one side starts to weaponize a particular dependency, it just motivates the other to look for alternatives.
Yes!
So when America controls on chips, China will start looking for workarounds.
Yes, dude!
Because you can use lower-end chips as workarounds, and China will start looking to become more technologically self-reliant. And when China puts controls on rare earths, I think all of us will start to...
Do you guys think that Lawrence Wong watches Big A? You think he's a parade truck kind of guy? You think? You think he's in the clip? No, but I mean, it's so refreshing to hear a leader say this. Like these weapons are like guns that point at your own face. These idea that you can just unilaterally restrict a country from a certain technology or in China's case, from elements of the earth. Then China can just be like, yeah, these are 6 natural elements that exist on Earth. You can't use them without us. It's like insane. It's like it's the height of arrogance. The idea that America can be like, you guys can never have high-end chips, and then China be like, you can never have, xanthium or whatever. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a crazy thing to do, and of course it will backfire and drive people to work without you. And it applies even things like mostly with sanctions, dude. Like, listen, Trump threatened more oil sanctions on Russia. Do you know what happened in response to these threats? Did Russia stop selling oil to India? No. Stop selling oil to China? No. The price of oil went up 6%. So oil, which has been heading down and making Russia weaker, is spiking up because Trump keeps putting up these random fucking sanctions. All it does is help Russia. It just makes the price of oil go up so they can sell it for higher prices. This stuff is so backfiring. If you want to make Russia's economy weaker, pump oil. You should deliver their oil. Just get it out there. Fucking it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, dude. So yeah, a lot of these unilateral controls by countries that try to like project power, I find them to be really backfiery, but also they cause chaos. They cause like panic and stress and problems in the short term, and then they just make you weaker long term. I love that this guy's like similar thoughts.
These are not so rare after all, and America and its allies, I'm sure, will look for alternatives. These things will happen. It will take time, but the economist in me says that we should never underestimate the elasticity of supply. So when you look at these sorts of dynamic and the consequences of actions, I think America and China may well come to a new modus vivendi. Think about how they can coexist with one.
I'll Google it. I'm not afraid. What's a modus vivendi? Is it like a mode of operation? Is it like a way of life? A modus vivendi. Oh, it is way of life. Nice. Perfect. A new way of life. Okay.
One another, even while they compete intensively. It's not easy to see how this may arrive very soon.
I'm trying to,
in the near term.
I'm trying to imagine what you are describing. If it's unstable in some areas, it will be unstable in other areas.
Yeah.
Often hear the Chinese saying that they look at the relationship as a whole and they cannot compartmentalize it, whereas the US prefers to compartmentalize. So do you think they'll get a trade deal in the next few weeks?
We hope so. It may not be a strategic agreement that resolves everything, but even some form of a guardrail to manage the economic relationship in trade is better than nothing.
True.
And if the US and China continue to coexist and not end up with a full decoupling, which is going to be highly damaging to both economies and also highly destabilizing for the entire global economy. So if they can find ways to coexist, going back to your earlier question, Singapore and all of ASEAN countries will be able to navigate this new environment. We will be able to therefore continue to have relations with both America and China.
Do you think that a lot of the US sort of economic nationalism, the America First strategy is leading more to a China First strategy, and in some ways giving them this impetus to produce the chips themselves, to make themselves even more independent and paradoxically stronger?
You can see growing confidence in China throughout its entire society at its own developmental model. China's rise gives rise to a lot of unease in many parts of the world, not just because of it's a rising power of tremendous scale, but because it's a power with a different economic model and political system. But I think the world must realize that China will not converge with Western norms, and it will find its own path to modernity. And while there's still tremendous catch-up growth because its per capita GDP is just 1/5 of America's,
Yeah.
In some areas it's gone beyond catch-up. It's a technology.
Yeah, in manufacturing, it's ahead. I mean, yeah, China's interesting because the rural parts are really so undeveloped, and the city parts are like in the future. Like the coastal cities are doing incredible, and then the rural parts are so backwards. And there's like, and each one of those parts has more people than all of America, because it's 1 billion people. It's just crazy. I mean, they have 300 million migrant workers. That's as many people as the country of America. It's really shocking. I mean, the scale is crazy. It's crazy.
Technological leader in many areas, in advanced manufacturing, in renewable energy. So we have to contend with and accept the reality that China is not just a rising power, it is a risen power. And the moves that it has made in recent years, I think just demonstrate that China itself recognizes its growing weight and is thinking about what responsibilities it might exercise as a leader in the global system. For example, it recently decided to forego its special and differential treatment provisions in the WTO. In just this past year or so, it has doubled down on its support for global institutions. And I think these are examples of how we have to embrace the reality that
Yeah,
China
I mean, it's
will
kind of
be a
stepping
key
into the
player
gap
and
that's
potentially
U.S.
a key
pulling back
leader
from in some of these
in
places.
this new global system.
But doesn't a country like Singapore then have to make a choice because you have navigated a strong...
Bro, okay, one thing is she keeps trying to make him say one side or the other. Like, he can't do that. As a good leader of Singapore, he can't be like Team USA or Team China, bro. He just can't do that. He literally is telling you over and over that it's a multipolar world. We're a small country. We have to trade with both. And she keeps being like, yeah, but who do you fuck with, though? Like, are you Xi Jinping or are you Trump? Like, who's your... It's like, bro, he can't do that. He's not going to burn his cards on that one. He's answering your questions very honestly, but this is one you can't...
Political defense relationship with the US and a very strong trade relationship with China. Do you not feel that you are reaching a point where this balancing act doesn't work anymore?
Having said all that I just described of China, we are talking about China today still not being able to or willing to replace America's role in the global system. Because it's not quite at the same level as America. It's still a middle-income country with a lot of domestic challenges. So there is no...
As opposed to our country, which has no domestic challenges. Or Europe, which has no domestic challenges. Everyone's got domestic challenges, bro. It's the fucking century, or it's the fucking decade of domestic challenges. Everyone's got domestic challenges, bro. They're all over. And you're using the China trip? Yeah, I'm going in February, I think. Late February into March. I'm doing a month in China. I'm trying to see all these major cities. I'm trying to interview people. I'm trying to do a big China trip. I'll be doing 2 weeks with a friend who just had a kid. And they're showing their Chinese family the kid. They're flying back to China to show their family, and they're going to show me all around and really get a local perspective. And then I'm going to do 2 weeks with Lemonade Stand. A true China expert, Aiden Calvin, who's going to talk to Uber driver or DD drivers, and we're going to learn about that with that. No weeks with Ari. Ari and I are going to Japan in 2 weeks, but this China trip is she's coming with us for the first half. Is there a way to reach out to you or meet you in China? We might do a meetup. I have no idea right now, but I would love to do that. But again, China's really big, so it depends on where we do it. We might do a meetup. When we were in New Zealand, we did a meetup.
Leader yet emerging, and we are in this very messy period of transition.
Yes.
And this
will
be a long...
What does Singapore do then?
Therefore, in this very unpredictable, messy period of transition, which can continue for years, maybe more than a decade,
Bro,
I think we will have.
Give it a rest, lady. Give him a chance, bro. He can't tell you a straight answer on U.S. or China. All right, he's trying to tell you that he's going to figure it out and work with
like-minded countries, as I said just now, find ways to preserve and reinforce the multilateral frameworks that matter.
So describe to me a little bit this sort of multilateral system that you see. I know that there's a new grouping that you are promoting with other smaller countries. How do you see that system working and surviving?
They scale up.
The efforts are multi-pronged. One, we have to reinforce and reinvigorate existing institutions like the WTO. For example, in the WTO, the consensus decision-making process, which is a treasured principle, has become a recipe for paralysis. We have to change that. We have to find ways for plurilaterals to take off in the WTO.
Well, you need the US for that.
Bro, how does this guy know my language so much better than me? Plurilaterals. I get it by context, but I've never used that word in my life, bro. This guy's fucking crazy.
You do. So we're not discounting the role of America. We're saying some of us should start moving, keep the momentum going. And in time to come, even if America is not willing to or able to make a decision today, maybe down the road it might. And so we have to do that in terms of refreshing global institutions, which we are doing. The second front is to look at pathfinding.
I studied at Harvard of the Southwest. We're no different. First of all, we're no different. Okay, we both studied at branches of Harvard, essentially. And then, I know Singapore, one of the main languages is English, but I'm quite sure he speaks more than one. I don't know which one he grew up with, but.
New initiatives, which we are working on too with like-minded countries. So the future of investment and trade partnership, which you talked about.
That's the one with the UAE and
that's
others.
right. Yeah. We bring together small and medium.
I'm just saying, let's be real here. This guy's smart, don't get me wrong, but what's his League of Legends rank? Where'd he peak at? Can we be real? Where'd he fucking peak at? Let's be real. Let's be honest, dude. I think he has that iron in him, if you know what I mean. I think he's got that iron in him, and that's not what we need to have in a leader. Okay?
Dependent economies, because we are all alike in wanting to uphold a rules-based trading system, and we can come together to push the frontiers for new initiatives. Amongst these 15 or so economies, we already have virtually tariff-free. So the point is not to come together to do an FTA, but to think about what new ideas we can put on the table, including facilitating investments, making it easier for businesses to interoperate across our economies by standardizing rules, regulations, customs, documentation.
This type of shit sounds boring, but it leads to prosperity, bro. These cooperative, coordinated economic unions from like-minded countries in a similar trading spot leads to profitability for both. It's so, I don't know, this whole beggar thy neighbor shit, it doesn't work.
Enabling, using technology as an enabler with electronic invoicing, documentation, data flows, these sorts of things. And if we can have new initiatives like that in time to come, we might be able to multilateralize them as part of WTO precepts.
You are a massive investor in the US.
Well,
and
around
when you hear of the attacks on the Federal Reserve, when you see the unpredictability of economic policy, does that make you less likely to invest? Are you reducing investments? Are you shifting more towards Europe? Or is it there is no choice? Your largest investments have to be in the US.
We are not scaling back right now because when we look at investments, we look at macro risk environments, but we also look at the individual company dynamism and prospects for growth. And for now, while the risk premiums at the macro level may have increased in America, we still see a lot of leading edge technologies, tremendous dynamism in American enterprises.
True, based.
So we remain invested
Eagle
in
Screech.
these companies. But it's not America
Stars and Stripes.
alone. We continue to look out for opportunities around the world, in Europe and in Asia and other parts of the world as well.
What about Europe? There is an opportunity for
Yes.
Singapore politically, economically, on the investment front, to have a closer relationship
Very much so.
with the EU.
We think Europe will be also a key player in this multipolar environment. Europe is a major power in its own right. And Europe will be a key player in this new global environment. So we are keen to forge closer links with Europe. We already have very close links with Europe between Singapore and the EU.
Does Europe
We are
now?
looking at how we can bring different groupings together, and there are opportunities to do so between the CPTPP and the
Whoa!
EU, for example. We have been
CTPPP?
having discussions on a more formal partnership. That
Too long.
accounts for something like 40% of global trade between EU and ASEAN. Incidentally, EU has already signed or moved on FTAs, not just with Singapore, but with several ASEAN member countries. So if we can get EU and ASEAN together on an FTA discussion, that will be
Free trade
another 1/3 of global trade. So these we see as new opportunities to reinvigorate trade. I mean, we are in a world where the global system is starting to see more and more, becoming more and more clogged up, but we would like to keep the arteries of trade open and maybe create new arteries. And that's why we see these strategic opportunities with Europe.
Does this new world order that is yet to emerge, does it require any domestic changes
interesting question.
in Singapore
Interesting
towards
question.
more political liberalization?
You could have two
I
parties.
ask also because you would have seen that there's a new youth movement that's emerging in different parts of the world.
Oh,
in
yeah,
Asia and also in
Gen Z
Africa, the
movement,
Gen
yeah.
Z movement. Tell me how you are thinking about the future on domestic,
These are tough questions.
social and political liberalization.
The two are connected. It's a relevant question, the changes in the global order, as well as the sort of youth movement that you see around the world. And we see growing anxiety amongst young people everywhere in the world.
Yep.
In China, they talk about lying flat. In Japan, there's a term, hikokomori, staying in the
Neats.
home, not going out. Yeah. And I think in America, Europe, you talk about...
You call them Atrioc viewers. I know, I get it. There's a term for them everywhere. We got it, okay? We don't we call them people on the Rift, bro. League of Legends players.
The Great Resignation and all sorts of other terms. So you see that level of growing anxiety amongst young people because we are in a different environment, less stable, more chaotic, more disorderly. So naturally, young people are more concerned about their future.
Yeah.
We feel that in Singapore too.
Yeah.
So from a political point of view, from a domestic point of view, our focus must be to find ways to give assurance to our young, to give them that confidence.
Yeah, that's what they want from a leader more than anything.
And that's what we are determined to do.
That's what they want more than
What's
anything in the
the
fucking
hardest
world.
thing that you've had to do since you became prime minister?
There are many hard things. I don't know that I
Hardest.
can... Hardest.
Have you been to see Trump?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
so you haven't done the hardest.
We might have a chance to meet when he comes, if he comes for the ASEAN summits, which he has said he would.
Yes, because he has to sign the peace agreement.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure whether it's just for that, but if he comes to the ASEAN summits, there may be a chance to meet him. I've had a phone call with him late last year. It went well, but I'm sure there'll be opportunities to meet.
Okay, so we take that out.
Yeah,
That's not the hardest.
I would
What
say
is
the
the
hardest
hardest?
has been really in managing people. You don't realize the extent of it until you get into this job, right? Which is that I'm not just prime minister, I'm leading a party. I'm leading a party, I go into elections, and you have to then think about which are the members of my team who I have to drop because I want renewal. And one of the keys to the PAP's success has been a full focus on renewing our team every election. And this is not easy to do at all.
That's interesting. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons of their success because, again, one of the biggest problems with single party authoritarian type governments, again, theirs is they have elections, but they just never lose. and not that they're rigged either. It's that I mean, not the rigged as in the ballots are rigged, but that it's like very, very hard to form an alternative party and get everything through. Anyway, but what I'm saying is they're focused on renewing the staff of it because one of the biggest things that happens is stagnation. It's when you get stuck in a one party system that doesn't have to compete, similar to like a company. Once they don't have to compete for votes or elections, they become more and more disconnected generally from what the populace actually wants because they have there's no pushback. But they're clearly focusing on renewal without that, which is pretty crazy.
Easy to say, let's just continue with the status quo. I don't want to offend anyone. You know, it's okay, we all move along. But then if I do less of the renewal, I will pay the price
yes, dude!
5, 10, 20 years from now. So having to
yes, I like this guy a lot, man. Straight up. I think this guy's a great leader. On God.
To each one of them individually and say, I'm sorry, I'm not able to allow you to continue. I have to drop you. That was very painful.
So party management.
Yes, that was very painful.
Just the mere idea that some guy's talking about the future of his country in 5, 10, 20 years, as in after he's out of power, that's refreshing too. We have the most short-term fucking focused society right now that it's ever been in my whole lifetime. Everything is about the news of the week. And very rarely about things that'll happen 5+ years from now, which is like so important. Dude, one thing I was giving China credit for is 5 years ago exactly. No, actually 6 years ago. Maybe even 7, I'm sorry. This is right before COVID during Trump's term. There was the first little mini trade war with China. And China, which again has many faults of its own that I've pointed out, but China, in response to that mini trade war, commissioned a deep dive study on every single area of thing that the United States could use as leverage in a future trade war. And then they spent the past 6 or 7 years, one by one, ripping those away. So like there was a helium dependency on America. They got rid of that. So I'm doing 6, 7. Fuck you guys. Fuck you. God damn it. They went and they got the helium dependency. There was the soybean stuff. They built up the ability and the trade networks to get soybeans from other areas, which they deployed during this trade war. The rare earth metal stuff. They built the capacity and the ability to enforce a rare earth metals ban. So they got all this stuff ready so they have way more leverage going into this trade war. That was a long-term plan. That was not like oh shit, this is in 2 weeks, let's figure it out. That was like, hey, this is going to happen again in the future. We need to be ready. And they were way more ready this time around. And that kind of stuff makes a much better chance of prosperity for your citizens. Like the long-term shit is what pays off, not the short-term stuff. That's cool and all, but does China have big booty Latinas? I'm sure that's on Xi Jinping's list. I'm sure he's fuming at the fact that he hasn't figured out a way around that export restriction, but he's trying to figure it out. I'm just saying long-term.
Not easy to do. And I had to steel myself to do it and manage it. And I'm glad we had a good election outcome at the end of the day.
Thank you for your time and hope to see you again soon.
Very interesting interview. Really refreshing. Glad to hear it. I very much enjoyed listening to that. I hope he talks more. Okay. I don't want to make any claim here that Singapore is perfect either. No country's perfect. That's the fucking thing that, especially Zoomers, I wish they understood. They all have deep flaws. All of them. Every one of them. But, a little bit of wisdom goes a long way, bro. A little bit of long-term thinking can make the difference. It's fucking, it's massive. It can make your, we all have one life, as far as I believe. And choices that you don't get to make can have huge effects on your life for 30 years. And so you really want wise people making those choices. Luckily, we have the wisest president of all time. So, what else did I want to do? I have this little list here. Oh, I saw something funny. Speaking of China, guys, this report came out today, and I just want to say, whether you're European, whether you're American, we all have to come together and defend Taiwan now more than ever. Because researchers in Taiwan have discovered a new cure for baldness. Okay? 3 weeks they were to turn a bald mice into growing fur again. Okay? I want aircraft carriers rotating around Taiwan 24/7. This is a full-on defense, national defense. Sell turkey stocks. As a Turkish patriot, I hope Trump destroys Taiwan. Trump destroys it? That's funny. That's so funny. This is big, dude. This is fucking... Look at that hair. It grows back thick and full right there. On the rat. This is massive. This is a game changer. I'm going to come back from Taiwan. I'm going to have hair like... grow out of my cheeks, bro. I'm going to have fucking... I don't know... swim in a pool of this stuff. Come back with an afro. A tasteful afro. Can a white boy have an afro? I'm sorry. It's 2025. Wait, what is this? A little Road to Empress. I am gonna beat it this week. I'm not playing it today. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, covering the news and things I'm interested in while I have a fuck ton of energy because I slept great. I will probably end here in a second though, maybe. The thing is, I'm gonna stick to around 3-hour streams and just be high energy and happy and do them earlier in the day. That's what I want to do. When I push it, then I fall behind. Because I tell you what I have to do. Let me be honest with you. I just want you to know. I'm going to give you a list of things that I have to do right now. Let me make it for myself. All right. Number 1, I have to record VO for the Age of Empires Best Game Ever video. I did an interview with Hera. We just need a little bit of VO. I have to record VO for that. Number 2, I have to record VO for the Hitman contract video. I redid the intro. I have to re-record the fucking VO for that. Hitman contract video. Number 3, I have to work on and prepare, and ideally finish relatively soon, a live Marketing Monday for Atrioc. So it has to be something that has live elements. I need to be working on that in the downtime. Number 4, most immediate, I have to make a presentation. I started it, but I have to finish it. On the Gen Z protests all throughout Southeast Asia and Africa for Lemonade Stand tomorrow. And I have to make it One Piece themed. I also have to get a One Piece costume for tomorrow because it's a Halloween episode. I have to get a One Piece costume for tomorrow to record this. Okay? So this is that's 5 things already that are on my playlist. Oh, also I have some business tax thing I got for my fucking LLC thing, so I have to fucking figure that out. And this has been sitting there for 2 weeks now. It's probably unpaid. I'm going to get fucking pulled over by the IRS. What else I got to do? I got a lot of things that I need to fucking hit. So I got to make sure that I don't let this shit overwhelm me. And then I stay on top of it and I balance it. Because otherwise I end stream and I have all this shit to do and I feel tired because I stayed up too late. And then I fucking just play TFT till fucking 1 a.m. or I fucking sit there and watch. He had stream for 5 days and did do anything to this. I did a lot on my to-do list, okay? There's just more. Just pop an Addy, bro. IRS is underfunded. You should be good. That's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm banking on. They can't get me, bro. They barely got any employees. Trump's cutting them. Trump, please keep cutting the IRS. Anyway, so I probably think that's good. I did have other shit I wanted to watch, but I think if I go live at 4, end at 7:30. Let's end at 7:30. Let's go a little bit longer. 3.5 is pretty good. I wanted to watch. There's another video because this is part of my. I want to watch this anyway, bro. I fucking want to watch it with you guys. I want to watch. There was a Hoser video called "Why Africa's United States Failed," and it looked pretty interesting. It was about Liberia. Has anyone seen it? Was it good? I just watched that.
I love
that shit. Sounded interesting to me. It was woke. All right, it looked good to me, so I thought I'd watch it with you guys. And it's 20 minutes long, so.
The American Constitution.
More like Liberia.
It's one of the great documents of American. I bet you thought I was going to say of American history, but no. It's just one of the great documents.
I agree.
It laid out how the first true, large democratic experiment would work, and it really gets into that spirit which has defined America.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
The self-determination, the rule of man, the equality for everybody. I know what you're thinking. Let's put it in Africa and see what happens.
Okay.
Because if you thought that, you'd share something in common with those who tried another great experiment of American history, exporting its values and constitution.
Okay.
I'm talking about the first democratic republic in Africa, Liberia. If you want a spoiler, it ended in one of the worst civil wars in modern history and the end of that constitution.
Yikes.
Liberia was originally founded as a mini United States on the west coast of Africa, which can be seen in its national symbols, its cultural attitudes, and of course,
I did not even. Yeah, okay.
Liberia was originally founded as a mini United States on the west coast of Africa, which can be seen in its national.
That's their flag, huh? It's just the 1 star. I did not know that was the Liberian flag. That's very funny. It's like copied the homework, but it's not 1 star. It's 1 state. That's fucking the Lone Star country.
Symbols, its cultural attitudes, and of course, its form of government. It's also a country that, like the USA, has always been defined by the politics of race. Imagine this. It's 1808 and the United States has just banned the slave trade.
Okay.
Not owning slaves, of course, only the act of transporting slaves from Africa.
Okay.
A significant portion of the country is made of freed and non-freed black men and women. What do they do now? Sure, many plantation owners saw this population as temporary workers, but they'd been in America for generations by now. Well, a growing coalition of people suggested they should return to Africa and create a new nation.
Oh, really?
This
That's where it comes
coalition
from?
brought all sorts
I don't know
of
anything about
people
Liberia.
together. Slave owners, abolitionists, clergymen, black nationalists, white nationalists, for all sorts of reasons, like giving economic and political freedom to former slaves or segregation across ocean lines.
Sure.
Not even a decade after the slave trade's ban, the American Colonization Society was formed, a group dedicated to the colonization of Africa, aka the resettlements of black Americans to Africa. And it got some pretty big names to join. Henry Clay, Richard Kane, Daniel Webster, Bushrod Washington.
Bushrod
Okay,
Washington,
you might
huh?
not know them, but I swear they were important guys. You might know Presidents James Madison and James Monroe, though, who were both leading figures in the ACS. Him, while he was president. So this idea
Okay.
had a lot of institutional support within America, with Congress even offering $100,000 for the
Sheesh.
establishment of Liberia. The first ship to sail over to Africa landed here on Sherbro Island in
How did they get the
1822 with a whopping 86 people on board. Over the next few decades, more and more ships would come over to
Dude,
this
you hate to be on
area
the
on the
first
West
boat.
African coast to create their own settlements, buying land from and warring with local
Oh, they
tribes.
just bought it. Okay.
For example, this strip of land was traded from a Gola leader for the price of about $300.
Okay.
And by traded, I of course mean traded at gunpoint.
Okay.
So there is this situation in which black Americans
Okay.
settled on the coast in what would become Liberia's cities, along with some immigrants from the Caribbean and repatriated slaves from captured slave ships,
Okay.
and then local and tribal peoples in what was called the hinterland. In modern Liberia, 16 are officially recognized. Throughout Liberian history, this first group, which would be lumped together as Congos or Americo-Liberians, only made up around 5% of the total
I see,
population.
but they
Yet
probably
would have almost complete
economically
political
dominated?
and economic control of the
Yeah,
country.
okay.
That's because initially the country was founded only for the Americo-Liberian settlers, which there are only a few thousand of. The
okay.
mass exodus of black Americans to these settlements never happened.
Humans love doing this.
Especially after the end of the U.S. Civil War. So, to make up some size, the ACS merged with some other colonization societies, like this one from Maryland, who joined after they were aided in fighting a
What the
war
fuck
with the
flag is
native
that?
Crew and Grebos. In 1838,
Well, it's like the Waluigi flag for America. What the fuck is this? It's like a Switzerland American Waluigi run by bees. What is
aided in fighting a war with the native
In my
Crew
hat.
and Grebos. In 1838,
Bamerica.
the Commonwealth of Liberia was created to govern all of these individual settlements on the coast. This settlement, Christopolis, would be renamed to Monrovia in honor of U.S. President James Monroe
Damn.
and become the political center for the settlers. Even today, around a third of Liberians live in and around Monrovia. But ironically, because of Monroe's doctrine of separating the hemispheres into zones of American and European interest, Liberia struggled to get American support after its establishment.
Yikes.
The towns struggled to raise the revenue needed to, well, build their cities and fight the tribes which they were constantly at war with. Most of the money they got came from duties, but the British, which had also set up
Say
an
duty.
ex-slave state next door, claimed that Liberia was a society or company or something, definitely not a government. Therefore, they had no authority to collect taxes. So, in 1847,
Wait,
the
what-
families of the coast...
Why the fuck do the British care about whether or not people in fucking Liberia collect taxes? This is 18, I mean, the Brits cared about everybody, huh? They had their fucking nose in everybody's goddamn business.
banded together to declare independence from the ACS. They would found the country of Liberia, the first democratic republic in Africa, modeled largely on where many of them came over from, the United States.
Okay.
The Constitution of Liberia was based largely on its parent copy. It established a legislative branch with an elected Senate and House of Representatives, a president who holds supreme executive power, and a judicial branch with an American-style Supreme Court.
How about
the
that?
Declaration of Rights is filled with American
can't break
classics
that.
like all men are born equal, all power is inherent to the people, and it's even got a "We the People" reference in its preamble. Some old throwbacks like you have to be a 21-year-old man with property to be able to vote.
Okay.
And some new hot takes like there shall be
Kinda
no
changed that.
slavery within this republic. There's one
Pretty good for
small
1847.
provision tucked away in the miscellaneous editions, though. Pull up section 13. The great object of forming these colonies is to provide a home for the dispersed and oppressed children of Africa, None but persons of color shall be admitted to citizenship in this
Interesting.
republic. Liberia was created only for Americo-Liberians.
Interesting.
It says it right there in the Constitution. It also says in sections 14 and 15 that you can't buy land from Native Africans, and the improvement of Native lives is an object of the government. However, neither would become true. The hinterlands were ruled fairly autocratically by president-appointed paramount chiefs alongside Americo-Liberian district commissioners,
Okay.
creating what was essentially two separate legal systems, economies, and societies.
Okay.
The Americo-Liberian population spent the next century and a third monopolizing all the power in Liberia.
Well,
They
that's
dressed differently, talked differently, practiced Christianity, built plantation-style homes, were the bosses on large plantation-style farms, were the only ones elected, and because native land recognition wasn't legally respected, the only ones who could vote.
How about
Economic
that?
power was monopolized with a patronage system, giving true Liberian patriots gifts like iron ore concessions, rubber farms, free labor, or tribal land. Liberia was ruled for a century as a one-party
more
state.
rich. It works in
under
all
the
countries.
True Whig Party, which was named after
What
the
I
American
understand is
Whig.
like, so over and over in human history, some group of people will get economic power and then entrench themselves in that role to the loss of others. And what I don't understand is why, if you disagree, aren't you just born in the dominant power? Do you know what I'm saying? Just pick the right spot and be born in it, and then you don't have to worry about it. Like, people complain so much, but it would actually be so easy if you just did that.
Nicknamed the Grand
Just
Old
re-roll.
Party and used an elephant as a symbol. At least this part makes sense since elephants actually live
Yeah, it
in
actually makes more
Liberia.
sense.
Now, legally, they weren't a one-party state. They were a
Just play
beautiful
meta.
pluralistic democracy like America. But despite the fact that the true Whigs would actively campaign during election seasons, the result of that election was decided pretty much from the start. Opposition members would be harassed and in some cases attacked and jailed. Both the newspapers in the country were owned by the government, and during the true Whig...
I mean, this is essentially the Singaporean system right now, where it's like they have the ability to have other parties run, but there's so much institutional pressure to keep it so that one wins. And all the media there. I guess social media is probably changing it, but
dynasty, nearly no election was what we would call free or fair. This is probably a bit of an understatement. In 1927, Charles D.B. King won an amazing
D.B. King.
230,000 votes in a country where only around 19,000 people could legally vote. That's a 1,210% margin, a strong mandate if I've ever heard one. And don't even think about
The
checks
goat!
or balances when you're
The
elected.
fucking goat,
Never during
dude.
true Whig rule did the legislative branch ever initiate legislation without previous presidential approval, while court rulings were often straight up ignored. Old
that.
King wasn't too radical just like most in his party, but he did preside over a bit of a shakeup in the Americo-Liberian world. In 1930, a League of Nations report came out that the government was complicit in what
I
was
know I voted for
essentially
him.
slavery and a slave trade. They
Oh, never
found
mind.
forced labor practices and worker abuses on the Firestone Tire Company's rubber plantations. Labor for some public works would be diverted to high-ranking government officials and private citizens, and some crew and Grebo workers were sent to
Little
the
corruption.
Spanish island of Fernando Po to work on cocoa plantations. Liberia was shunned from the world system and King resigned from the scandal, marking what would become the peak of Americo-Liberian domination of society. The president, not after him, but the one after
I'm
him,
surprised.
was Liberia's longest-serving and most transformational,
surprised that had any consequences at
William
all.
Tubman. His open-door policy flooded the country with foreign investment, which promised to develop the whole country with modern infrastructure, though, to be fair, did help Americo-Liberian businessmen the most, who could benefit from fancy roads to new plantations.
Right,
And
they
his
have the land.
unification policy was aimed at bringing tribal members into Liberian society.
Okay.
In 1945, the Constitution expanded the right to vote not just for property owners, but hut owners as well, since tribal land was only recognized to be in the name of the paramount chief. This gave the 3 hinterland provinces a whopping 6 out of 39
Damn.
House seats, whereas before they had to
Bro,
pay
once you let
to
the
get
hut
a non-
owners start to vote, you just don't, it all goes to shit, all right? The hut owners don't have the same smart opinions of house owners. You got to get, no,
voting House member
anyone can
in.
throw up a hut.
Native Liberians were brought into government jobs, and
It's
even
like
the
in your
armed
Minecraft server. If they have gold armor, they can't be voting, bro. It has to be diamond at minimum. Ideally, netherite only should be voting, okay, on the server rules. If they have fucking iron, it's just not.
forces, although even in the government, still traditionally worked more grunt labor jobs, making the country
No green tops allowed.
institutionally stronger, maybe institutionally weaker, perhaps institutionally different, yes, and a major vibe shift for sure. And still, the trajectories of these 2 different people were too far gone after decades of neglect towards the tribes.
Yep.
In fact, many resources came from the hinterland, land and labor, but also with the introduction of a hut tax, financial and food resources
hut
as
tax?
well. This would be enforced through armed troops, the frontier force which fought many uprisings throughout Liberian history. Often, they'd live off the land, staying alive through the pillage of local villages. William Tubman, great reformer, died in 1971, succeeded by William Tolbert, okay reformer. It was during his presidency when the entire Americo-Liberian system came to a collapse.
Okay, I swear to God, I was just gonna say this, but it would have sounded so pre-watched, so I'm glad I didn't say it. Swear to God, I was gonna say this is what I was gonna say, and I'm so glad I didn't say it because I wanted to make sure I don't sound pre-watched. There's so many times in history where there'll be like a brutal, repressive regime, and what actually breaks them is when they try to reform and fix it. It's like things are so bad, and then they ease up on the gas just a little bit. They're like, we gotta, but because that opens the crack, everything falls apart. Okay? It's like the fucking, glasnost and perestroika reforms in Russia and USSR. Bro, once they try to be like, okay, we can make this work. We can fix some of these brutal problems. People want more. Of course they want more because it's you haven't undone any of the problems, and now they feel like they can actually make progress. And then it just collapses, dude. That's like a true running theme in history.
The first sign of instability was when he raised the price of rice by 50%. Both
Yeah,
as
it's
a
almost like
means
it's
to
too
try-
late. Like I mean, it's hard to see what the counterfactual will be with continuing their oppression because the reason they do the reforms is because it's like untenable to keep it. So but it just feels like they very rarely reform strongly enough to maintain the system realistically.
But it developed the interior, and because his family owned the rice monopoly, but this ended in student, then national riots.
I'll tell you right now, like in North Korea, bro, if they tried to like open up North Korea with some reforms, that whole shit would collapse. That if they tried to, do a perestroika type thing in North Korea, it would cause such radical change.
It's the rice riot.
Posture check?
It's
Shut the fuck up.
usually a good barometer that a country is unstable when cities get burnt down from increased food prices rather than, I don't know, what we do now. Tolbert was out within a year of these protests, not by resignation, but by bullet. Who was in? Samuel Doe, who orchestrated the coup, executing him and 13 members of his government. One thing about Sam is he was Kron, not Americo-Liberian, and his gang was made of disgruntled tribal members who joined the previously all Americo-Liberian armed forces. While many in the outskirts were excited to have an indigenous leader, hoping for some sort of deep change in the country's political system, it became pretty clear just a few years into his reign that he was going to do exactly what the True Whigs did,
Oh, shocker.
just for the Crown instead. Another coup attempt was carried out by Thomas K.
Fucking
Wankpa,
shocker,
who
dude.
failed, was mutilated by Doe's guards, and dragged through the streets of Monrovia. Doe became increasingly paranoid and autocratic, persecuting members of the Gio and Mano tribes for their supposed role within the plot. As Americo-Liberians fled, bringing suitcases full of hard currency with them, Krons moved en masse to the capital, and in something straight out of Animal Farm, military and government roles were filled with Kron loyalists. Nothing was going to change under Doe's leadership, so the country remained unstable
Bummer.
and ripe for yet another coup. This time it was led by Charles Taylor, who was only half Americo-Liberian.
Okay.
He'd previously worked with Doe's government, but was exiled to the U.S. after being accused of stealing around $900,000
Well, he's not going to
from
steal a
him.
few.
In America, because the government supported Samuel's anti-communist position, there was enough diplomatic sway to get him jailed. But somehow, he escaped to be trained in Gaddafi's Libya, sent to Cote d'Ivoire, and started a march on the
escaped?
capital, officially starting Liberia's civil war period, which wouldn't fully end for 14 years with Charles's next exile. Charles led the National Patriotic Front of Liberia through Nimba County, where he picked up huge support, being the people most targeted by the Doe regime massacres. The war he
Okay.
brought was pure chaos, extolling an unthinkable human toll. It's estimated over 200,000 people, 10% of the population, was killed, and 1 million people were displaced. Entire villages were
Jesus
razed.
Christ.
There were mass executions where members of the same
What's this
tribes
guy's
would be
name?
buried in mass graves,
Charles Taylor?
and the widespread use of the war's biggest cultural legacy, child soldiers. The NPFL would go on to control about 80% of the countryside, exploiting tribal divisions on the 6-month journey to Monrovia. During that time, multiple groups had splintered off of them, led by charismatic warlords. One of them was the independent NPFL, led by Prince Johnson. These forces, ULIMO, couldn't even stay together, so they splintered off into splinters. ULIMO K and ULIMO J split along, who would have guessed it, ethnic lines, Mandingos and
you hate to
Krons.
see it.
And in total, there were 7 factions throughout
You
the
hate
war.
to see
All
it,
of
bro.
these, along with the Liberian Peace Council, Lofa Defense Force made to protect themselves from Mandingo attacks, and Samuel Doe's Armed Forces of Liberia.
Lots
It
of fighting.
seemed like no other intergovernmental organization was going to stop the conflict, so the Economic Community of West African States tried to intervene through their peacekeeping force, ECOMOG. Their
God,
goal
they got
was to
ECOMOG'd?
contain the conflict within Liberian borders for one, but also, of course, to keep the peace. Monrovia had degenerated into a ghost town with looting, killing, displacement, and just general chaos. And throughout this whole ordeal, Samuel Doe was cooped up in his executive mansion, waiting for the inevitable. But when he left
you're
the
gonna get
condo for a
cooped.
bit to visit the ECOMOG base, he was captured by INPFL forces and in an infamous case, tortured, lost these extremities.
Jesus Christ!
Beheaded, all recorded by Prince Johnson, which I feel like would end most people's political careers in a democracy. But Prince was an elected senator until his death in 2024.
Jesus Christ.
ECOWAS had finally been able to get the parties to sign
Jesus
a couple of
Christ.
ceasefires.
Okay.
Now, the factions, after
We're
a
in the
decade of
90s
fighting,
now?
had been able to come together to create a lasting peace. What the country needed now was trust building, to
Okay.
rebuild its institutions, and a way to mend all the damages that were caused to each other.
Fingers crossed.
So, Liberia held its first fair election, possibly in its history.
Okay.
And who won? Huh? Oh, Charles Taylor won in a massive landslide.
Wait, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
there's no trust to be built by this. Many
Wait, am I not following the story? Isn't Charles Taylor beheaded? Am I smoking crack? Didn't he just get his head chopped off in this story? Am I losing my mind? Oh, that was Doe. Okay. Okay. I misfall. Okay, that's Doe.
Liberians voted
Okay.
for him because they believed fighting
Okay.
would continue unless he won the election.
I
You know,
see.
because he started the Civil War and all.
Okay.
In fact, one of the more infamous slogans from his campaign was, "He
Damn.
killed my ma, he killed my pa, but I'll still vote for him." Taylor quickly created an
That's crazy. That is a crazy slogan. God damn, who knows? I guess I should never put a predictor on what people will vote for. I should never know.
Authoritarian regime.
He tells it
just
how it
like
is,
his
you know?
predecessors, limiting political freedoms, especially of his less favored ethnic groups, and the economy was not the greatest as you can imagine after all the businesses were literally destroyed.
Right,
The
that'll do it.
inequality and poverty wasn't magically fixed by the election, and Liberia again slipped into war. This time attacked from the north by the Liberians United for Reconciliation and Democracy, LURD.
LURD.
The only thing on their agenda. The only thing? Taylor must go. They then dropped a LURD turd on the country by doing what Charles had done 10 years before, picking up popular support in the outskirts and marching on the capital.
Okay.
By 2002, they were nearly
They
outside
used
of
his playbook
Monrovia.
against him?
But like before, LURD split and the MODL launched attacks from the southeastern counties on both LURD territory and the government.
They split
This
it?
second round wouldn't
Split
end
after
until
you get rid of
Charles
the-
Taylor left. That was the whole point, right? And the pressure was too much for him by 2003 when he fled to Nigeria.
2003.
3 years later, after his capture at the Chad border, Charles Taylor became the first head of state since the Nuremberg trials to be indicted and arrested with war crimes and crimes against humanity for his role in the Civil War.
By who?
As well as his support for Sierra Leone's blood diamond trade and all these other things.
Bro, remember when blood diamonds were a big deal? Nobody talks about it anymore. In the early 2000s, Hollywood would not shut up about blood diamonds. Leading to this great quote.
You know, in America, it's bling.
Sorry. Some of my favorite scenes of all time.
You know, in America, it's bling bling, but out here, it's bling bang, huh?
Say it again.
You know, in America, it's bling bling, but out here, it's bling bang, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, dude. That's my goat. So true. So fucking true. So fucking true, dude.
Since 2011, he has been living here in a British prison cell. So at least that's a good ending. One of the themes of the Civil War period was the attempt of tribal leaders not to change how ethnocentric Liberian society was, but just to place their group in charge of the country.
Right.
First, the Americo-Liberians built a completely unequal society under true Whig Party dominance. Then the Crons took over for a decade with Samuel Doe's coup. The Guios, Manos, Mandingos tried in the Civil War, and the Lofas in the Second Civil War. Although it's done a much, much, much better job at keeping peace and ensuring freedom for most of its citizens, Liberia's history still haunts the country. By per capita
As it would.
output, Liberia is the poorest country on the West African coast, even lower than countries who went through similar situations like Sierra Leone and Cote d'Ivoire.
That's crazy.
Since 2006, it's practically been a brand new nation than the one that was originally founded 2 centuries ago, the one only for Black American settlers and freed slaves. That is unfortunately the definition of a failed state.
Yeah.
And it's safe to say, after all these years, that the great experiment in exporting the American government to Africa has failed. If you enjoyed this video, please do
It was interesting.
subscribe.
I didn't know very much of that story. All right, Chad, that's it for me tonight. Thank you very much. I have something to do, but I appreciate you watching. That's a fun stream today. I'll be back tomorrow. Probably not as early because I have to do the pod, but I still enjoyed it, and I enjoyed my time with you. And we're doing Road to Empress this week. We're doing an interview with Melody Wright this week. I got a lot going on. Sevens, appreciate you. Goodbye. Good luck. Godspeed. Is anyone live? I think we'll probably do a best tweets this week too. Could raid Zane, dude. We could raid. Oh, Chibley? I'll raid Chibley. Sounds fun. Raid Chibley. Big Chibley fan around here. Oh, my stomach's growling. I gotta go eat too. Okay, goodbye! Click the button. Click the button so I send 3,000 viewers. It's always good to rate with the 3,000 bomb. Okay? 20 people click the fucking button. 11 people? 9 people? Click the button. Click the fucking button. 5 people. 5 people click it. 2 people click it. God, boom.